howdy. Sure was interesting yesterday, huh? I can't imagine they're gonna let that happen again. But that's what, that's how the internet works. So we'll see how this works, because we're going to learn about AIPAC some more today, and how clearly they control the United States. Today, you assume that you know stuff. You assume that you have some of this figured out. And a lot of it too is like, it just from common sense, from looking at the presentation you're given, and sort of just coming up with answers for this situation you're given that doesn't really make sense. But you don't have, like, you can say things like, oh, they control this and they pull this and blah, blah, blah. But when you read that, according to them, the AIPAC policy conference meeting is second only to the State of the Union address for number of government officials that attended. Like, no other event has more government officials on both sides attending it. Oh, you did? What do you mean? No, like, are you saying like what? No other event, no vote, where they got to vote on something, no any sort of congregation of government officials, or any sort of anything, nothing else do that many government officials from both sides attend. And this thing isn't like mandatory or anything. This is something they get invited to, and as such they are treated like royalty. First class flights, first class accommodations, all the food, everything is the best it can be. I'm sure there's access to lots of little boys and girls. But you just, you think you know, but you really have no idea. Right? You think you have an idea, but you really, you just can't tell yourself. So much of it is that it's just so obvious that it falls into that category of, like, if this was real, then people would say something. That sort of mentality you have. There's no way it's this obvious and people still fall for it, and we're still subjected, by it. And, it's just conspiracy theory. That's basically what you've been told your whole life, is anything that's this obvious, that's this fucking insane, that just has to be conspiracy theory, right? But it's not. It's fucking shocking. It really is fucking shocking. How do they have that much control so openly, so brazenly? How do we as Americans I mean, and I really hate all that. I really am not a fan of patriotism. I think civic pride and racial pride are some of the dumbest things people have. You know, where your parents, grandparents had sex is not something that you had anything to do with, or is it something you should be proud of? I mean, I do get it when it comes to black people, brown people, you know, shit like that, or enemies of AIPAC. Because you've been told your whole life, or your population, your people have been told forever that they're not good enough because they're not the right race. Guy, you have huge, is that how, are we talking like Trump now? Humans, huge, that's huge. Racial pride, yeah, me, you see me always talking about racial pride and shit. But I mean, I get it, like, you know, when so much of the racism and supremacy is justified through racial means, you know, racial inferiority bullshit, then I understand where black pride and brown pride come from. I get it. But at the same time, it's just fucking dumb. It's just dumb distraction bullshit. But at least when you're talking about black pride and brown pride, you're talking about, you know, it's not significant, like a significant area or a specific area. You know, it's not like I'm brown pride from this or from, like, that's not how this works. Look, we have James Diamond. Does anybody wonder who this Diamond character is? If your last name is Diamond, you're just a piece of shit, right? You're one of these pieces of shit, and it's obvious. This is what they do. This guy can't argue anything I have to say. Like, the day that some dumb piece of shit chosen actually is the day I quit. I refuse to lose to these fucking idiots, these inbred fucking idiots, right? These guys are fucking inbred, dumb pieces of shit. And the funny thing is, like, everything they say, make more excuses for the people, right? Like, if anybody makes excuses and hides behind racial bullshit, it's them. And it's not even a race. We're not even talking about a race of people. You know, we're talking about, you know, just a choice. Bad guyism isn't a race. Anybody can be a race, or anybody can be a bad guy. You can't convert to a different race. So when they start pulling the racism card, it's like, you're not a race. You're an idea. And there are multiple races that identify as chosen, as the bad guys. But this is how they do it, right? This is what they do. And so we've got another, Simon. We have another one here, and we're going to have bunches of them here. And they're going to keep looking stupid until the comment section gets shut off, because they know what's happening. Once they overload the capacity, once I overload the capacity, they shut it off, because they know they just end up looking stupid. And at this point, any sort of nonsense that comes my way, I mean, look at it. Look at this is the best they can do. They're 100% bringing their best. If they could come up with anything else, they absolutely would. But they don't. And so, we're just a continuation of yesterday. Yesterday's video, we started talking about AIPAC and how just absolutely insane it is. You know, we have our AIPAC page. Now, I guess we should always start and go in order here, because people will hide, will use whatever ways they can to get out of this. So first and foremost, we're going to show this video. So this is Naftali Bennett. Naftali Bennett has been part of bad guy land government forever. He's been a high-ranking bad guy land operative for a long time. And this video is from 2010. And you know, this guy becomes prime minister in 2022. So what you're seeing is future Prime Minister Naftali Bennett telling you how they control Wikipedia. And I mean, you'll see for yourself. So here we go.
Has arranged in
Israel. This copy's not very loud. Let's go with this. This is much better. So this is the evidence part.
With my Israel has arranged.
Stu Katz, go fuck yourself. You're a horrible, horrible piece of shit. All of you are. So I hope you have lots of good stuff to say here. Tell me how I'm wrong about anything I'm talking about. But let's take a look at what Naftali Bennett, future Prime Minister, has to say about Wikipedia.
In conjunction with my Israel has arranged instruction.
Wait. Look at how, of course, the obvious chosen, that Stu Katz, that Katz name is always a fun one. The first thing he says is he's talking about fucking pubes. Like this is exactly, you couldn't be more you. You know, these are the sickest, most perverted, most disgusting people on the planet, and there's no hiding it. So thank you for your dumbassery. Okay, so again.
In conjunction with my Israel has arranged instruction day for wiki editors. The goal
look,
of the
he took
day
his comment down. Go figure.
Teach people how to edit in Wikipedia, which is the #1 source of information today in the world. As a way of example, if someone searches the Gaza flotilla, we want to be there. We want to be the guys who influence what is written there, how it's written, and to ensure that it's balanced and Zionist in nature.
I came here to learn.
Okay, so it really doesn't get any more, more obvious than that. I'm constantly trying to find proof. Because in this situation we're given, so much of what we fall for is without proof. There's no reason for us to fall for such stupidity, but we do. There's absolutely no reason why the United States should be doing anything to help bad guy land. And see, look, there's a great dumbass example. Just to let everybody know, submarines are real. There's no proof going to be provided. There's no real argument going to be made. It's just dumbass nonsense, and you're supposed to fall for it. You're supposed to just agree with what they say without any sort of proof. So I've gone to great lengths to show proof to you guys. America is bad guy land. When Wilk, you realize this. I have no idea what the fuck dumbass is talking about. I never in my life have I said how great America is. Bad guy land, the United States is the bigger version. It's like the big little brother, right? It's bad guy land in comparison. The United States is controlled by bad guy land. and they don't hide it. They don't they don't make any sort of qualms about it. They fucking brag about it, and that's what AIPAC is, right? AIPAC is it's unbelievable, really. If I was just telling you all this stuff about AIPAC without reading the Wikipedia entry to you, and remember, Naftali Bennett just told you that they control Wikipedia, the #1 source of information in the world. They control it so that they can influence the people. They have taught the editors how to edit things so that it has a balanced and Zionist perspective. That they admit to it. They flat out tell you that they control Wikipedia to control the information, to control the perspective. This is how it works. And you have these ultra dumb Christians coming on here saying the same tired nonsense. God should be blessing the most genocidal, pedophilic, this horrible group in the world, right? Your God should, well, and if anything, Christianity has proven is that your God is a huge pedo fan. Your God loves some pedophiles. So I guess if you're going to go with your whole stupid Christianity, God can bless them all he wants because it's not real. They created it. They created the slave religion cult for control purposes. And it's as simple as, you Christians believe that you're second class in your own belief structure. You're not even the chosen people by your own Christian God. Your Christian God's chosen favorite people are a completely different cult. Like, that's fucking insane. And how bad we are, but how good he is. Don't know what you're saying. You have a narrow mind and I don't know what I speak of. That's right. I sit here and I provide you proof, lots of evidence. I don't just sit here and yell stupid shit. Jesus is the way. No proof. I actually provide you proof. And I'm going against the narrative. I'm going against the flow. So my narrow mind means I don't believe the same thing most of you believe. Boy, that makes sense, doesn't it? It's that narrow mind that questions things, right? But this is how they provide proof submarines aren't real. Oh, well, go watch. If you weren't so determined to stop the conversation about the real problem, just go watch. It's funny because, they say they want that. They say they want this interaction, this exchange. Prove that submarines aren't. I already have. Submarines aren't real, part 1 through 9, sufficiently debunks submarines. And you could easily go watch those parts, and you could either debunk me or learn something, I guess. But you don't actually want that. You don't want that proof. You don't want to see what's going on. You're just talking shit for distraction purposes. And if you're going to, the title says, the title also says AIPAC. I notice how you're not bringing up AIPAC. But this is how they operate, right? You're the real problem. Yep. I'm the problem and I get it. To this system, to these dumb Jays, I am the problem. Absolutely. Right? I'm not a problem, I'm the problem. I'm the last person they want to get any sort of platform or spotlight because I influence people. Because I'm smarter than damn near all of them. And because they know the revolution can't be, fronted, led by a white guy or a black guy or anything like that. It has to be someone like me. So absolutely, I am the problem. God didn't put you in prison. You did when you see the brick. Like this is like to Christians. This is like evidence. This is like these are like legitimate arguments. And bricks on your shoulders and prison. Like this is the dumb shit. They can't actually come at you with, well, here's some proof. Here, go look at this. Here, check this out. You know, they can't do anything like that. So they just start regurgitating shit they've heard other people say. But they cut that off. They don't want to know. They don't want to learn about the history of their shit. They don't want to know where their shit came from and who gave it to them. It's not part of their narrative. This idea that the God that you believe in sure does love watching children get raped, doesn't it? And doing nothing about it? Isn't that fun? I don't think there's any group, any organization more associated with pedophilia than the Vatican, than the church. And apparently your God just likes watching that shit happen. This is so stupid. I do not listen to dumbasses. You are right. I don't. If some special kid came up to me and started telling me stuff, I wouldn't listen to what they're saying. Like I wouldn't listen to them. I could hear what they're saying. Okay, yeah, I might, you know, I might placate their shit a little bit or whatever, but I'm not going to listen to them. If they say do this or do that, I'm not listening to them. And that's basically the equivalent of your average Christian. Is some special kid who believes in a sky daddy. You know, and the sky daddy and then the basement daddy, you know, they're either the good stuff or the bad stuff, but it's not the people. And again, it's like they don't even want to know. To me, if I'm going to believe something, I want to know why I believe it. I want to know the ins and outs of it, and I want to learn about things. The last thing Christians want to do is learn. I am not wrong. You are correct. But look at the dumbassery that comes my way. The devil ordained. You are very confused. Yep. I sound confused, don't I? I sound like I don't know what I'm talking about. The devil. Ooh, the devil. Now, which devil are we talking about? Are we talking about the stereotypical gay guy in the suit with the pitchfork with gonna poke you? Ooh, he's the devil. We're talking about the big Baphomet monster. All these Christians, that's the Baphomet. The Baphomet, they worship the Baphomet. Just such dumb shit. And talk about a fantastic, like, distraction. You know, you literally have people arguing over superheroes and supervillains from a comic book. And yet they're ignoring the truth. They're ignoring the truth about, you know, what's going on in the world, about their Christian God's complete lack of give a shit when it comes to pedophilia, when it comes to genocide. You know, it's just insane. It's really just fucking, like, you can see why they chose it this way, why they designed things this way, because it works. Ask the Christian why they believe in what they believe in. Why do you believe that shit? What have you seen, experienced, heard, read? What do you know that proves what you're saying? Of course, they just have nothing. Throw a fit and turn off the comments again. Yes, because you can turn off the comments, right? I can turn off the comments. I reset my videos to get the comments to come in so I can turn them off. That makes total sense, doesn't it? But it's, you know, this is what you see. This is the best they can do. They're not going to come at me like, oh, well, let's explain this, or let me provide you with this. Here, look this thing up, or look. They're not going to say anything like that. They're just going to make baseless, dumbass claims because they're dumbass, inbred, you know, just pieces of shit. Right? This is all it is. Keep up the good fight. I'm trying. Why does a Christian have to give you proof? Because they're claiming something, right? If you're going to engage in an argument, you can't just sit here and start spouting off nonsense. This is a truthful conversation. This is this is us trying to figure out the way things work. So for you to just come in here and be like, well, I can fly. We're just supposed to believe it because you say it? No. And when we're talking about one of the biggest control schemes in the world, you would think there would be some sort of reason for it, some sort of proof, some sort of, justification for the dumb fuckery. But there's not. Why do Christians have to justify what they believe and make you feel better? Because you're getting away with raping children all the time. Because you guys are the ones that make it all about your stupid nonsense. But this is, again, notice how dumb questions are even put forth, and I'm still answering, but they don't answer. Like, to me, if I was a Christian and somebody asked me for proof, shouldn't you be happy? Shouldn't you be jumping at the opportunity to provide proof for what you believe in? Why would you come to a page just so you can say dumb shit, but not, I'll say all kinds of crazy, stupid shit, but I'm not going to say anything that's provable. I'm not going to do that. Like, it's just, this is the best they get. And this guy thought, this is how I'll get him. I'll ask him this question. It'll stump him. But this is the dumbass shit. That's not even how Christianity works. What part? The existence of God or what? Yeah, prove it. Prove your Bible's real. Prove Jesus is real. Prove any of the shit in that goofy ass Bible is real. Other than maybe some locations. Prove your knowledge of it. I mean, most of you don't even understand that the Bible is a Jewish book. It's not even like, it's not even Christians. It's not even a Christian fairy tale. All of the characters in the Bible are Jews. And they repeatedly mention the Gentiles in a separate way. They're not talking about us Gentiles. They're talking about those Gentiles. But again, why are Christians so weird about it? Somebody asks you why you believe in, like if somebody asked me, I forgot what, we were standing out here talking to a friend the other day. And he brought up something about Iran or something. Do you think we're going to war or something? And I just start going off. And it's like, dude, don't even pull that string on me. You don't want to sit here and hear all this. I'm going to keep going. You ask me for examples or proof of what I'm talking about. And I'm proud. I'm happy to say so. You ask me why I don't believe in the Sky Daddy bullshit, and I'm going to give you all of the reasons I can. Because I'm proud of it. I'm proud of what I think and what I believe. I don't hide behind, why should I have to show you? What do I end up proving to you? Christians are always, so arrogant. Have a blessed day. Have a blessed day. God bless you. They love to bring their shit into the conversation, but as soon as you start questioning things, they shut down. Why? Because no one cares what you believe. That's why you watch me, right? Because you don't care what I believe. No, it's just entertainment. You're the most entertaining thing I could watch out of all the different fucking YouTube channels and all the different social media platforms and all the different television shows and DVDs and Hulus and all that shit. I watch you because you're so entertaining. Ooh, ow, ooh, ow. I can start with the existence of God and why I believe that portion. Absolutely love to have a conversation. Do it. What's stopping you? Instead of saying that nonsense, why not just say what you need? It's the J hate that I can't stand. Oh, you can't stand my hatred. Oh, you can't reverse it. You can't provide any reasons why I shouldn't. But, you know, you could screw, God bless the Jews. You could say that dumb nonsense. Gotcha. Look at these fucking, look at this bullshit, man. Look at this dumbass comments. I mean, I don't even, like, this is why I stopped reading the comments, because it's just so stupid. Is that arrogance, or are they trying to bless you? It's pretty arrogant if you think you can bless me. You think you can command the God that controls the universe to bless me? It's pretty arrogant. Just like you thinking you can pray to God to get it to change its mind. That the God of the universe answers your prayers. He hears your prayers. He listens to you. It's just so stupid. Dude, you guys, people scroll through and stop on an interest because of the shock. But that's what it is, the shock value. So they scroll through, they stop out of interest because of the shock value. Yeah, that must be it. That must be it. And then when they come here and they see what's being talked about, they're just so shocked that they have to say stupid shit and then come back day after day after day for hours at a time, month after month, year after year, because they're just so shocked. Like, I love when people blame it on YouTube, why they're here. You popped up in my, I click on every single thing that YouTube suggests. I click on everything. I can't help it. Even if I have no interest in it, I click on it. So, let's see. Who is being nice and polite that asks what the fuck are you talking about? A long way, blah, 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 blah. Like, this is, look at how crazy this is. And the funny thing is, these are all people who identify as Christians. So instead of proudly, exclaiming why they believe what they do and providing some sort of evidence or proof, it's just this crybaby name calling, weird fantasy bullshit. Like the guy, you eat corn the long way. So at some point, somebody said that to that guy. And he was like, oh, it hurts my feelings. Why does everyone say gay stuff to me? Why does everybody think I'm gay? And he was like, that hurt my feelings. I know. I'm going to lock it in my memory, and I'm going to say it to somebody else from now on. Snowflake. Snowflake. Like, everything that these guys are saying is shit that was said to them and hurt their feelings. Okay, so this is the one person that said that they were going to answer. So I think there is a sign of similar design with things like the Fibonacci sequence and DNA that, in my opinion, shows credence to an individual designer. That's dumb. That's not an, like, so you're saying it could only be this one thing. The Fibonacci sequence is code. It's the code. It's the base code of the program. That's why it's in everything. If you know about like 3D printing and fractal computers and all this kind of shit, there's a code. There's a base code that gets put into something, especially when it comes to like fractals and fractal mathematics. And then it just repeats itself. So the fact that the Fibonacci sequence is in everything is just the code that the system uses to make it. But I can't understand why that would have anything to do with an individual that likes watching pedophiles. And the thing is about those kinds of things, like when it comes to DNA and all that shit, well, you're really only talking about more shit you've been told, because you don't know that shit. You don't have any access to any of that stuff. And when it comes to science, like, if you don't know that science is just another religion, at this point, where if you go against the given narrative, you get blackballed, you get blacklisted, you get, killed in some cases. You're not paying attention, I guess. I'm a Muslim. Oh, even better. We have more Muslims on here. Muslims are the exact same thing as Christians. Except I do give it to Muslims. They are more dedicated and more true to their belief structure, right? Muslims are the ones that'll stop what they're doing 5 times a day and pray. Muslims are the ones that abstain from alcohol and all these other things, not eat bacon and shit, because that's what they're told to do. Christians only follow rules that they like. And the reality is, most Christians have no idea what their fucking Bible even says. It's just stupid shit. No, it's scrolling through live stream. Do you understand how that works? Yep. I understand that you have a choice and you choose to come here every day. It's not like mine is the only option that's given to you. You're scrolling, so you could easily stop at any other feed you want to. Anything else. But yet you come here. Repeatedly. It's not like it's your first time. Dude, the evidence is a lot. Give me some of it. Give me one piece. If you're a Muslim, give me one thing that proves your book to be true. The Quran. I'm just insulting everyone. Blah, blah, blah. Look at this shit. Look at how dumb all these comments are. What they don't realize is every comment that doesn't actually engage or address what's being said proves that I'm right. Trust me, if people are motivated enough to come here and say anything, if they had better things to say, they would. If they could smash me and make me look, they would. This is the best that people can come up with. Yeah, all those examples you just gave had a creator. The pedophile thing is just completely off topic. Oh, is it? I love how the Christians will do that shit all the time. They don't like this part of their narrative, so they're like, no, it's off topic. We shouldn't talk about that. Nah. Never mind that the Christians, Catholics, same thing, are constantly raping children. Never mind that. That's not what's important. Washington, D.C. is built on sacred geometry. I think most things are. Most things are built on this by a people we don't really understand prior to whatever the last reset was. And, there's a lot more going on than we realize. Blah, blah, blah. And talk about this, they want to smell me now. Can we just smell you, please? Muslims and Christians are the same. Yeah, because both acknowledge the important part of Christianity, which is the deity of Christ. What? Seriously. This guy typed that out. It's not like he just sort of said it and he didn't realize what he was saying. This guy typed this shit out and then hit enter. Like, this is it's amazing how stupid these people are. May Palestine prevail. For sure. What's up, Matt? Blah, 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 blah. Why are they attacking you, bro? Because they're Israeli bots. The majority of these profiles are Team Jorge style bots or ACT-IL representatives. They're attacking because the last thing they want is someone like me reaching people. They need us to be these stupid sheep. And because they can't actually answer for anything I'm saying, they can't make any reasonable points, they do this dumb shit. Men telling someone to stop using their phone for what they want. That's what's psychotic. Just leave the life. Exactly. I mean, can you imagine you seeing that anywhere else? Think of all the different things you see on YouTube. Imagine if somebody has an established channel where they do their own thing, and yet instead of just ignoring said channel, people come in and be like, I want you to talk about something else. I don't like you, but I want to hear you talk about something else. Like, it's just so obvious what's happening. You know, this only makes sense when you apply the dumb J Team Jorge aspect of things. Hi to New Zealand, Chris and Kelly, same thing. Yep, such a lowbrow take. Yep. See, again, instead of actually telling me what I'm wrong about, they just say these dumb things. Right? And this is their blanket sort of, you know, their blanket response, their blanket comment, because they can't actually address what's being said. They can't prove any of it wrong. So they just sort of, you know, fish out of water, flounder on the ground like they don't know what's going on. His haters are the Jays, Mo. Yes, they are. And I acknowledge the better part of the Jays, aka nothing. I am from Israel and we have the right to defend ourselves. Yeah, but nobody else does, right? Nobody else has the right to defend themselves. What a stupid thing to say. This just proves how stupid they are. We have a right to defend ourselves. Who doesn't? Who is supposed to just sit there and let somebody attack them? Other than, you know, the victims of Israel. But who is supposed to, you know, the Palestinians, yeah, they're just supposed to let everything happen. You know, no bad guys were killed. No J bad guys were killed on October 7th or taken hostage. That's a complete fabrication. It's a false flag. And there's literally no proof to it. Like, you go ahead, try to find any proof you can. Go try to find the best footage you can from October 7th actually showing something happening. There's not. We've tried. I get accused of... I looked it up one day. Hamas attacks bad guy land. And the first video that popped up is new footage surfaces of Hamas attacking on October 7th. So I click on that, and it's like a 4-minute video or maybe 2, I don't remember. But it's just bullshit. It's all just dumb, staged theater bullshit. And so the admitted Jay's like, you just pick the video that you want that proves your point. Really? I just found a video that proves my point randomly. I somehow knew that the video that I watched wasn't going to actually show what it said and instead prove my point. Isn't that amazing? It is off topic to what I said. You're the one saying people not addressing the topic, blah, 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 blah. Look at this dumb shit. Because the pedophilia aspect, that's not an important part of this. The fact that the church is consistently caught raping children and your God doesn't do anything about it, well, he's busy. What is your rainbow pronouns? Think about how stupid you have to be to admit that you're it's just too many pronouns for me to understand it. Duh. Like, that's just how stupid you are. Everything you say points to how stupid you are. It seems like you couldn't defend yourself against Iran. Real men, not children and women. Oh, you must be talking about the Israeli guy. Yeah. And it's funny, too, how every time they admit it, and then it's shown how stupid they are, they go, well, I'm just kidding. I'm not really one of them. I need to listen to what you think submarines because you put that in the title. Yeah, the title of the show is Submarines Aren't Real. And then it literally says part AIPAC. Notice how you leave that part out of the equation. What about the AIPAC part? But again, you're one of these stupid ass people that you know, you hear about the Smashing Pumpkins, so you go to the concert and you're pissed because they're playing music and they're not up on stage smashing a bunch of pumpkins. I came here to see pumpkins getting smashed. What the hell is this? It says the Smashing Pumpkins. So why aren't they smashing any pumpkins? Duh. Wait, which one of you is Floyd? I don't see anyone that's pink, but which one of you is Floyd? Duh. I don't understand. You know, this show is called Dateline. Well, I don't see anybody having phone conversations. Hey, my name's blah. I don't see anybody on dates on the phone. What the fuck is this? The title's called Dateline. Shouldn't people be calling in and having dates? Because that's what it's called Dateline. I don't understand what titles are. Look at how stupid they are. My grandmother was nearly a victim of the Holocaust. No, she wasn't. And I lost my family to the Holocaust. No, you didn't. It's not true. It's a hoax. It's bullshit. I'm Jay's support, says somebody. Super smart. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. When you see in Sweden, maybe Palestine should stay. Maybe Palestine should stay out of Israel. Yeah, because that's how that works. Because again, like, these are just stupid people. They don't know anything about it. They've been following the narrative since at least, at the most October 7th. Most of the time, they haven't even been following it since then. It's just sort of a recent thing. But the October 7th false flag is where a lot of people started paying attention because that's when they were told to. But it's like you know, you have the Charlie Kirks of the world talking about, there is no Palestine. This place doesn't exist. He's just so stupid. It's crazy because they get people involved in these arguments over what it should be called. Well, we call it Judea and Samaria. I don't know. I never heard of Palestine. Palestine doesn't exist. Like, talk about making yourself look stupid to make a stupid argument. Pretending that Palestine doesn't exist or hasn't existed for hundreds of years when it's on maps and all this other shit. Because supposedly, this is the land of bad guys and it was promised by the Bible that they wrote and all this other bullshit. Like, it's just so stupid, but it's how they operate. Because if they can get you confused and shit, like, I would love to have it out with Charlie Kirk. I would smash that guy so easily. He tried pulling that bullshit with me. It's called Judea and Samaria. Yeah, but what about the children being killed? What about the genocide? Who cares what it's called? What about the genocide? Oh, I don't want to talk about that. Happens in America every day. People get attacked, and when you defend yourself, period, then they come after you because you hurt the aggressor. It happens, but not on the scale that we're talking about here. See how happy the hostages were when they didn't want to go back to bad guy land? Because there were no hostages. It was fake. That's why the supposed hostages were tan, didn't lose any weight, didn't have any marks on them, didn't look emaciated or anything like that. They weren't real hostages. The fact is, there's been one guy that supposedly has been on tape since he got kidnapped, and then he's been just allowed to make videos here and there telling this pushing this bullshit narrative. One guy. What proof do you have for any of it? It's undoubtedly none. Just like your silly Bible. I see a tinfoil hat society. Yep, tinfoil hat society. Just more stupid shit, yep, crack, yep. Sweden had him, yep. 1 million immigrants, methamphetamines. Isn't it funny how they all say the same dumb shit? You definitely don't want to have a discussion as you ignore the topic again. Have a good one, yeah. That's what it is. You don't want to talk about a part of the topic, so that means I'm ignoring. And I didn't. I absolutely addressed your comment and then added to it. But nice try. Blah 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 blah. No, they were hostages, but Hamas don't dare, don't Hamas don't arm Muslims and have commanded treat. No, there weren't any hostages. It's not true. See, that's the thing, is people just don't understand the level of depravity that we're up against. Like, these people hate you. So the idea that they would lie to you to get their way is so, it's not far-fetched by any means. This is what they do. They lie. They literally, so a great example of them lying is back in 2021 or 2020, one of the two, this story starts going around about this guy named Hai, H-A-I, Shalain, S-H-A-U-L-A-I-N or L-I-A-N, one of the two. But he was supposedly the #1 protester in all of bad guy land when it came to the masks, the shots, the green pass, all the COVID stuff. He was the #1 protester against COVID and everything that had to do with it in bad guy land. And so one day he's at a no mask rally, you know, surrounded by a bunch of other people not wearing masks, and they're all bullshit protesting, right? Where he is then scooped up by the police and arrested, not even really sure for what. But he's arrested and taken to jail. And 2 days later, he's then rushed to the hospital because he supposedly has super COVID. Because 8 days later, well, 7 days later, he somehow he's allowed to make a response. Like, this guy is in jail and he's just in the hospital. Like, for him to have access to any sort of computers or phones wouldn't really make much sense. But somehow, he says, and this is on a Saturday, he says, I'm too sick to talk or respond, so he can't respond to comments. Not, I'm in jail and I just snuck the phone so I could make this post. No, it's that he's just too sick to respond. But he says that with God's help and you know, 2 or 3 weeks, he should have this kicked. But if he doesn't have it kicked, it's because he was poisoned by the bad guy land police. They poisoned him. And the next day, he dies. And of course, the next day there's a funeral, because that's how they operate. But there's no outcry. There's no, you know, this guy said he was poisoned by police. This guy was perfectly healthy when he was arrested, and then 8 days later, or 10 days later, he's dead from COVID. Nobody dies like that. COVID doesn't work that way. Nobody was healthy and then 8 days later they're dead from COVID. That's just not how COVID worked. So it just so happens that the guy that was against it all, he gets that super COVID, right? And of course, nobody else from that mask rally checked themselves into the hospital 2 days later and then died 8 days later from super COVID. He was surrounded by a bunch of people, everybody not wearing masks. So how did nobody else get sick according to the narrative, right? So I, being the crazy, narrow-minded piece of shit that I am, I think, well, this guy is the #1 protester, according to them, the #1 thorn in the side of the bad guy land government. There should be, hang on. There should be a whole bunch of information about him, right? If he's the #1 protester, then there'll be a bunch of stories about him and a bunch of, you know, he should have a pretty substantial social media footprint and all this other shit. Nope. Doesn't exist. There's not a single story about him prior to his untimely demise. There are no social media pages of his. There's no posts about him, nothing. He didn't exist. They literally just made up a character and a story to scare us. Because they lie. All they do is lie. It affects everyone differently. Those most susceptible generally have underlying conditions. It's not rocket surgery. Yeah, at least you're paying attention and using my words. So this one guy who was opposed to everything, he just happens to be the most susceptible to it. You know, if that was true, there would be a bunch of different narratives. There would be a bunch of different people that had the 8-day COVID. But this is, you know, this is the best that they can come up with. Instead of saying, yeah, that is kind of suspicious. That is kind of weird. I never heard of anybody dying after 8 days. I never heard of you know, just like the guy the kid that supposedly shot Trump. There's no social media footprint. This kid was in his 20s and he has no social media footprint. He basically doesn't exist except for a couple of videos that, you know, at least he had a couple of supposed previous videos. High Shaline does not exist. No investigation, nothing. It just died and that was that. Yeah, Trump definitely wasn't shot. If you believe that shit, you have to be, I mean, you're a Trumpanzee. Trumpanzees believe every dumb shit. They're some of the stupidest people in the world. That's why so many of them are Christian, because you have to be really stupid to be a Christian. But the most, in every sort of situation, right? There are always multiple giveaways, multiple little things that don't quite make sense. And you could focus on any one of those things. Me personally, I like to focus on what I believe to be sort of the main one, the most undisputable thing. And when it comes to the Trump shooting, it seems pretty simple to me. According to Trump, there were tens of thousands of people there. It's 2024, 2023, 2024? I can't remember. Was it 2023 or 2024? One of the two. But people walk around with 2 cell phones all the time. Show me the cell phone footage or the live feed footage from the Trump shooting. There should be every single angle possible of the Trump shooting. People standing there with their phones. There was a woman standing directly behind him to the left, or sitting directly behind him to the left, with a big giant phone, filming the whole thing. Of course, gunshots ring out, the guy right in front of you supposedly gets shot. You don't get up and run, you just sit there and watch, and with your, yeah, that's natural, normal. That fits. But there should be just endless videos from every angle possible of the Trump shooting. You won't find any. Literally any. The only cell phone videos you'll see from that day are people that were far away from the stage. And supposedly the shots are heard in the background, and then you could see people running around. I mean, and the narrative is just stupid. So you have to forget about the red shirt Joseph guy. You know, the guy that was interviewed immediately with a red shirt. He said, well, let's just say my name's Joseph, didn't want to give his last name or anything, which is strange. Why wouldn't he want to be associated? You know, why wouldn't he want his name out there? But he wanted to remain basically anonymous. And nobody's gone and asked that guy questions since. Nobody's found that guy and interviewed him or anything. But he was interviewed and he said, without question, the shots came from back and to the left, back and to the left, back and to the left, right? He said that he saw the guy that got killed. He watched as his head exploded. And he said that clearly that guy was in between Trump and the shooter. And the shooter had to be coming from far to Trump's left and to the back for that guy. And he said, I saw as the blood spray went, and I saw, like, there's only one way that guy could have been killed, and that was the shooter off to the left. And yet you're told to believe that the shooter was almost directly in front of Trump, but to the right. And so Trump turns his head this way, and somehow his ear gets nicked. The shooting's coming from this way, and he turns his head this way. So his right ear shouldn't have been nicked to begin with. I mean, if anybody's ever watched WWE, it's the clearest, blade job you've ever seen. They have female Secret Service agents there, little tiny females. You have to love how it worked out that there was two large men on either side, but a small female in the front, so that it like framed Trump as he's goofing, because there's a shooting. They don't know if there's any more shooters. They don't know if there's explosives. They don't know anything about that, but they let Trump get up. They have him framed by the two guys and then the small chick, and he's allowed to be walked off the stage and off to his car, where he's put in his car, and then he drives off. And then you see the fat little Secret Service woman sitting there with her gun. She doesn't know what to do. She goes to try to put it in her holster, and she can't get it in her holster. So then she's like, duh, and the feed cuts. Like it's, if you fall for that, you're stupid. But again, just show me the cell phone videos. That's all. I just want to see evidence. As a Trumpanzee, you should be in that same, in that same boat. I'm not asking for anything more than simple evidence, for common sense. Where the fuck are all the videos? Where are all the live feeds? All the people from every different angle filming that shit when it happened. Where are all those videos? You'd be surprised just how few videos actually exist from that supposed event. All those people behind him, not one of them got up to run or anything. They all just sat there and watched. And then you have Trump at the Republican National Convention with the big pillow on his head, talking about, I'm going to tell this story, and I'm going to only tell it once. I'll never tell it again. Because that's what you do, right? Something pretty fucking harrowing happens to you. You have this crazy story that makes you look like this ultimate victim and blah, blah, blah. But you're only going to tell the story once. Why? Because he knows he can't get the details right. The programmers, know he's too stupid to actually get the details right every time. The same details, say the same things every time he's asked. So they just cut it off. Oh yeah, well, I'm not going to tell this story again. It's just stupidity, right? It's just super stupid across the board. I was not ready for that conspiracy. How many of our Congress is actually submarine in this? Look at how stupid this is. Like, again, you would think that, especially the Trumpanzees, why aren't they saying, no, there's videos, here's a link, and here's a link, I saw this, go look it up. Why aren't they defending their argument? Why is this the only thing they're ever capable of doing? It's always funny to me how stupid this whole system is, and how they just try to like this guy wants to see me take a shower and shit. Look at these dumbass comments. How come you guys can't make better arguments? I know if it was Biden, you'd have everything to say. Well, Biden's faking it. You know that Trump was literally associated with the WWE for years? And has Linda McMahon as one of his top advisors? It was a simple blade job. How come once he stood up, he had stopped bleeding already? How did his ear grow back? There's no missing ear piece on Trump to this day. His ear grew back, I guess. That's just how that works. It's as false flag as it gets. Trump at the convention, they brought out the fireman's jacket and helmet, and Trump went over and kissed it, right? Except for the name on the fire. This is supposedly his jacket. It wasn't like this was created for the moment or anything. It was supposed to be his jacket, and his name is spelled wrong. And the excuse that they give is that his name was so long that they couldn't fit it all in. No, they put an A where there was supposed to be an E. They just spelled it wrong. How do you do that? How come everybody that was associated with that immediately shut up, lawyered up, and never gave any interviews or anything? None of the family members of the other victims. These people were essentially martyred. You know? They were innocently either killed or hurt severely during this attempt on the president. Well, former, future president. And not one of them, not one of them or any of their family wants to give any sort of interviews or anything like that. I mean, the whole thing just stinks so bad, and it shows you that it just went away. The fact that it just went away shows you everything you need. The guy that did it is Thomas Matthew, or Matthew Thomas Crooks is his last name. It was committed by a Crooks. And again, his dad says, I'm not going to say anything to the media until I talk to the police first. Why? You're not even going to say, oh, I love my boy, he's a good boy, I don't understand what's going on, nothing. He's not going to say anything until the media, he talks to the police first, and then doesn't say anything. Right? Look at how stupid this is. The whole thing is just, it's some of the worst nonsense. Weren't other people killed at the scene? So they, supposedly, oh look, we've got somebody, I'm so mad at you. You're hurting me so much, and I can't come up with anything good, so I'm going to drop the N-bomb. That'll get ya. That'll get ya. That's how fucking bothered by what I'm saying these people are, and how stupid they are that they can't argue anything, so now they're scraping the bottom of the barrel. Except they're too cowardly, of course. Way too cowardly to actually say it. Yeah, unfortunately for your cowardly way of doing it, somebody keeps commenting in the middle so it doesn't actually get put together. This is just how stupid they are, and they can't help but prove it. Of course I make a good point. Thank you, that's all I do. My racism. What racism? Are we stupid enough to call the bad guys a race? Yeah, I read what he's saying. So, of course. Drugs. Yeah, because weed is so bad. Oh, man, that weed. I only kick people who use pedo codes. I like what they say. I like the fact that they scrape the bottom of the barrel like that. Look, I'm making very, topical points. This is a topical conversation. This is a trending sort of thing. This isn't some spooky, secret, Illuminati kind of shit where you have to have some special knowledge or whatever. This is like everyday shit. The fact that they can't respond with anything but stupidity really shows you that you have to be stupid to believe their perspective. It's like the Christians crying about, why should we have to show you proof? Shouldn't you want to? Shouldn't you jump at the opportunity? Lots of stuff. Lots of stuff. Just cowardly bullshit. And that's really what it is. These Jays are cowards. These are the people that are dropping bombs on children from planes because they can't do it like man to man. There is no physical confrontation that could possibly happen. They're cowards. Who cares? Says somebody in caps because they're yelling. Obviously you do. Obviously all these clowns do. And look at how desperate this is. Why don't they just say reality shit? Can you imagine how many of you out there that are actual real people, what does it take before you start dropping N-bombs? You got to be pretty like backed into a corner, right? That's not your go-to. I mean, it might be if you're just a racist piece of shit, and I do think there are lots of those. But the fact that like in our society to go to that length, that's sort of a taboo, right? You're not supposed to be dropping N-bombs. But because you can't say anything else, this is all you have. This is all you have. I'm begging for attention. Yep, by going live, I'm begging for attention. Going live and talking about the world as it is, that's me begging for attention. Not the crybaby commenters who are desperately trying to distract with every dumb thing they say. That's not trying to get attention. With your fake profile. You know, I challenge you guys. Like, go look up any of these profiles, right? Click on any one of these profiles and see what their history is. See if they have any posts, any subscribers, any followers, anything. They may have like one or two, but that's it. Whose YouTube page works that way? Nothing to post, nothing to show, nothing to share, nothing. It's all just fake bullshit. Now, that's going to lead us into the next part of the conversation, which is what we should have been talking about the whole time. But you have to, you have to address things. So I'm going to show one more time. I'm going to show proof because I like evidence, right? I like being able to prove something in a way that you can't argue, right? You have to be a stupid fuck to argue against the shit I'm saying because it's right there in front of you. It's proof, right? So the first thing I'm going to show you as far as proof goes is Naftali Bennett, right? Naftali Bennett, at this point it's 2010, so he's just an operative. He hasn't been made prime minister yet, but in 2022, so between 2019 and 2022, in 3 years, just under 4 years, Israel had 5, 6, well, I guess it's 6 technically, 6 prime ministers. It was Netanyahu, then it was Benny Gantz, then it was Netanyahu again, then it was this guy named Naftali Bennett. And the reason that he won the supposed election, the only difference is between him and Netanyahu is that Netanyahu believed that all Israelis should serve in the military at 18, that they should all have military service and then essentially be called up to service whenever necessary. They all become reservists after their service. Ooh, that rhymes. And Naftali Bennett believed that Israelis shouldn't fight any of their fights, that's what we're for. That's what the Goyim are for, to do all the battling and to do all the dirty work, and that if something ever happens, that we just call on the Americans to come do it. And he believed that at 18, they should be able to go on their government-sponsored pilgrimages. Their lives are already paid for, free healthcare, free housing, free everything. They don't work. So they should go on this world trip where they get to go all over the world and stay in the best places and do all the shit they want to do. That's what he believed. And because the people are, these lazy pieces of shit, lazy, entitled pieces of shit, they supported it. So Naftali Bennett wins. And then a few months into it, as the prime minister, for no given reason, he just steps down. He steps down as prime minister. There's no process or anything. You would think to walk away from the prime minister. If you're the president or CEO of a company, you have to go through the process to not work there anymore. This guy's prime minister of a country, well, of a state, because as far as they never refer to themselves as the country of Israel, it's always the state of Israel. Which, if you think they're actually just the 51st United States, it kind of makes more sense. Or 54th or whatever, 56th. There's a few others out there, but they've been a state since 1948. But like, you would think this guy would have to have to do something to be able to step down. He doesn't. He just steps down, and then this talking head called Yair Lapid, he steps in, and he's prime minister from like it's April, May, June, something like that of 22, up until November, when they put the Netanyahu, Bezalel Smotrich, Itmar Ben-Gvir, Avi Moaz coalition in position. And it wasn't even like it was hidden. These guys ran under the guise that they were going to retake Gaza, that they were going to basically wipe Gaza off the map. That was the platform in which they ran on. They were called the most supremacist coalition to ever run Israel long before they were put in office, right? Now, again, notice how I'm talking about like real sort of shit. This is big boy conversation, political conversation. And of course, these idiots don't know any of this stuff. Do you think any of these idiots have been following the bad guy story since prior to October 7th? Do you think any of these idiots know how government works or anything like that? No, they're just stupid. If they could say something better, they would. If they could just smash me and debunk me, they would. They don't, because they can't, right? So this guy, Naftali Bennett, was prime minister of bad guy land for just a short period of time, but he was elevated to prime minister. So I want you to hear what this guy has to say.
Moetzet Yesh, in conjunction with My Israel, has arranged instruction day for wiki editors. The goal of the day is to teach people how to edit in Wikipedia, which is the #1 source of information today in the world. As a way of example, if someone searches the Gaza flotilla, we want to be there. We want to be the guys who influence what is written there, how it's written, and to ensure that it's balanced and Zionist in nature.
Okay. So, I really don't know, as far as proof goes, like what more you need. He says that Israel has arranged a conference, a meeting, a teaching session with the editors of Wikipedia to teach them how to edit things so that it has a Zionist perspective. He says Wikipedia is the #1 source of information in the world, and when people look stuff up, we want to be there. We want to be who influences what they think. So not only is Wikipedia the #1 source of information, which is why I use it, it's the #1 source of information that they provide. Right? All of the Wikipedia stuff passes their scrutiny. It's what's allowed to exist according to them, right? So when I say I'm gonna then look into Wikipedia, you understand why. It's like a given. Why wouldn't I use? What other source should I use? What other things should I be quoting and using to get my information from, if not Wikipedia? This is what they want us to know. I'm not saying it's true. I'm saying this is what they want us to know. So, using Wikipedia, we then pull up Team Jorge. Now, if you want to, you can go look up the multiple articles that actually talk about Team Jorge. And you'll get a lot more details and you know, a lot more shit that's just mind-blowing. But I like using Wikipedia because, again, no one can hide behind, oh, that's not a good enough source, or, you know, this is the summary that they want us to have. So pay attention, and then pay attention to what's going on my feed, right? Team Jorge is the name given to an outfit of Israeli contractors specialized in the use of malign cyber activities, including hacking, sabotage, and bot farm run social media disinformation campaigns to manipulate the outcomes of elections. The group was exposed in February 2023, after an award-winning undercover operation by journalists from Israel and France as part of a consortium of investigative journalists coordinated by Forbidden Stories. And actually the list is long, including journalists from the United States. The organization has been active since at least 2015 and boasts of having manipulated 33, gotta love that, 33, presidential elections worldwide, many of them in Africa. So don't worry, many of them are in Africa. Many is 4 or more. So they like to tell you things. They tell you a truth, but they tell it in a way that's very ambiguous and allows for your imagination to sort of fill in the blanks. But the reality is many means 4 or more. So out of the 33, 4 might have been in Africa. Can you go grab me the tray and a pack, please? Good morning. "33 presidential elections worldwide, many of them in Africa, and 27 cases with successful results." 27 out of the 33 elections that they've tried to manipulate, they have. And now, again, if you think that they're capable of manipulating elections, but they're not capable of fucking with a YouTube feed, you're probably some dumb chimpanzee, right? Their activities were revealed following a 2022 sting operation in Tel Aviv, carried out by 3 undercover journalists who posed as prospective clients and filmed their interactions with Tal, T-A-L, Hanan, H-A-N-A-N, the group's leader and former Israeli Special Forces operative, in which he explained the inner workings of the organization. Hanan, the group's leader, said Team Jorge has existed for more than 2 decades and has been engaged in propaganda and disinformation activities in more than 30 countries. However, its first documented activity dates back to 2015, just before the election that you're told Russia interfered with, even though they don't give you any sort of examples, any sort of proof of it. You're supposed to believe that Russia interfered to, I assume, make Trump win, because they don't actually say how Russia interfered for what purpose. But they say that Russia interfered. And if it was to make Trump win, well, it wasn't very successful, was it? Because Trump lost that election by 2,700,000 votes. 2,700,000 people, more people voted for Hillary than Trump. But the swamp that he said he was going to drain, full of AIPAC, dual bad guy land citizens, put him in office anyway. The 3rd time in modern history where the person that got the most votes didn't win. The other 2 times were George Bush Jr. Both times he won. Every other time, the people picked the right person in the Electoral College, I guess goes with it. But this time, and those 2 times, somehow California we can't let California pick the election. We can't have California. We have to have the Electoral College step in. Like it's just as obvious as it gets, as stupid and as obvious as it gets, and then people still doubt it. Their services have been available to government intelligence agencies, political campaigns, and private companies that wish to covertly manipulate public opinion. Pay attention here. One of the organization's primary tools is a software package called Advanced Impact Media Solutions, or AIMS. The software automates centralized control of thousands of fake social media profiles on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Telegram, TikTok, and others, including YouTube. So right here, this is proof that they control social media, and they use a bot farm tactics. Tal Heyman bragged about having 30,000 bots at his disposal. This is just one Israeli black ops organization. Just one. Imagine how many of them there actually are. There could be hundreds, if not thousands, of other black ops organizations that have bot profiles that they can sick on. They can either make you famous or they can tear you down. But just one of these groups has 30,000 social media fake social media profiles. Now when you look at shit that Zuckerberg says, he brags. He claims that Facebook is extremely active in removing bot farm accounts. He's so proud that they were able to remove 1,000 profiles out of China, 800 profiles out of the Philippines. He brags about it. Yet, Tal Heyman, just the one bad guy land black ops organization, bragged about having 30,000 profiles. And you've never seen Zuckerberg brag about how they got rid of any of those guys, have you? Have you seen that? Right? Have you seen any videos where they talk about how they got rid of bot farms out of bad guy land, out of Israel? No is the answer. You won't find any. And that should really make you question things. Now, so again, I'm trying to provide you the most truth I can, the most evidence I can, and I'm using their system to do it. I'm not even looking up some goofy ass Alex Jones bullshit or, anything that you can hide behind. It's conspiracy theory or anything like that. This is them bragging about it. I can't stress this enough. This is their profile, their program, their Wikipedia program that they monitor and they control. Funny thing is, yesterday, maybe it was yesterday, maybe it was the day before, had one of these dumb trolls tell me that they had edited the Team Jorge page, because everybody thinks anybody can just edit Wikipedia. That's the problem with believing random comments on the internet that clearly distract from the truth behind the message guy is giving us. Right. But they bragged about it. This guy was saying, I edited the page, because people think that anybody can edit Wikipedia. And on some pages, they give you the option to edit. Not all pages. Some pages, they give you the option to edit. And what happens is you make the edit, and if the edit goes with the narrative that they want given, they'll leave it. Your edit triggers the system to flag the editors behind the scenes, the actual people behind the scenes, who then check the edit to see if it aligns with the narrative, with the balanced Zionist perspective that they want us to have. And if it doesn't fit, they just remove it. And so the other day when the person said they edited this page, well, I've read this page countless times. I can basically read it without reading it. No edits were made, so obviously that edit was removed. Whatever you had to say was removed because it didn't fit the narrative. And I'm sure it was something like, Guy Williams is a douchebag, or something like that. And they can't have that. They can't have it be that obvious, right? Snowden proved this is like 2000s ID. Snowden was just an operative, man. If you look at everything that Snowden supposedly released, none of it made Israel look bad, or at least was new stuff. It was all well-known stuff. And the administration that was in place at the time was negatively affected by the Snowden releases. But the one that came in benefited tremendously from it. It was just a little bait and switch kind of deal. But Snowden was just another operative. It was just another, calculated. They have to do something. They have to control the conspiracy side. If they didn't put out the opposition leaders, the conspiracy theory leaders, then one of us would actually rise. And they can't have that because they don't control us. They want to be in control of every aspect of this. So they provide us with the Alex Joneses, with the Candace Owens. They provide us with that shit so that they can control the narrative. Now, we'll do a quick background on Tal Heynen. Tal Heynen, born in 1973. That's all we know. We know when dude from the 1500s, we know when his birthday was, when his parents' birthday was, jobs offers he turned down, all these people from back then. We know their shit. But this guy who is active today, only thing we know is that he was born in 73. Not even a month. They don't even give us a month. They just give us the year. Tal Heynen, also known by his codename Jorge, is an Israeli businessman and former Special Forces operative who has been involved in disinformation campaigns in order to manipulate elections in several countries. Heynen's organization, Team Jorge, has, for instance, attempted to influence the 2015 Nigerian general election in collaboration with the Cambridge Analytica. The group operated a software package called AIMS for creating fake online accounts on social media networks and using them to spread fake news. Blah, blah, blah. That's a real thing. Heynen's operation was the subject of an undercover investigation conducted by journalists from the Maker, Radio France, and the Haaretz in Israel, working together with the journalism organization Forbidden Stories, blah, blah, blah. Heynen has denied any wrongdoing. And that's it. That's all you get from his perspective, strangely enough. So, I just proved to you that they have bot systems, thousands of fake bot systems that they use to attack people, right? Now let's talk about the human side of things. So now we have ACT-IL, okay? ACT-IL. ACT-IL was a social media networking service used by supporters of Bad Guy Land to oppose online anti-Bad Guy Land content such as the BDS movement, boycott, divestments, and sanctions. Its activities were referred to as an online propaganda campaign and a virtual situation room for pro-bad guy experts. Now pay attention. ACT-IL directed its users to missions to like, comment on, and share pro-bad guy land material on social media. It also asked users to flag, report, and respond to criticisms of Bad Guy Land. Users were guided on how to respond, which might entail writing a reply using the provided talking points or sharing or upvoting an allied comment. The app also provided users with ready-made memes promoting Bad Guy Land's perspective for them to share. Listen, by completing missions, users earned points, unlocked badges, and had their scores displayed on leaderboards. So, and ACT-IL happens to be one of these pages that can't be edited. It's all locked up, just like the AIPAC page. I mean, I really don't understand. So what more evidence would you need? If I told you that Bad Guy Land uses social media and the internet to manipulate and attack people who criticize Bad Guy Land and the cult itself, What evidence would you need for me to be able to prove that to you? I've already proved to you that Bad Guy Land controls Wikipedia. So then if I'm using Wikipedia, I'm using the perspective that Bad Guy Land wants us to have. So then I use Wikipedia to show you that Team Jorge exists, and that's just one Israeli Black Ops organization. Just one. And they have 30,000 bots at their command, right? This page used to talk about how ACT-IL at one point had 15,000 users, but apparently that part's been taken off. So me showing you how not only do they use a bot program that, you know, by all accounts shouldn't be tolerated by any social media platform. You know, supposedly troll farms are bad, so that they supposedly try to stop them and try to eliminate them. So I show you that using Bad Guy Land information, showing you that they control and they use this bot farm technique, and I show you how they have a system set up for the actual people to earn points, badges, prizes for doing the same thing. What else can I show you? Like, do you require like Trump saying, yes, Israel does these? Is that what you need to be able to believe it? I don't know how else I can provide you with better information than this. So yesterday, I decided to go to the AIPAC page. And of course, the AIPAC page is completely locked up. Can't edit AIPAC page. Which, again, what does that tell you? If the page itself can't be edited by us, then what is it? Itzhak Rabin, another piece of shit. Wow, a pedo bot named that literally says that. Exactly. You completely lose your time. Part of it, you lose your mind. Blah, 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 blah. I remember a video from the 2000s of an ex-Israeli prime minister admitting they control Wikipedia. I just showed you that. You want to see it again? It's from 2010. It's right here.
In conjunction with My Israel, has arranged
Naftali Bennett.
Instruction Day for wiki editors. The goal of the day is to teach people how to edit in Wikipedia, which is the #1 source of information today in the world. As a way of example, if someone searches the Gaza flotilla, we want to be there. We want to be the guys who influence what is written there, how it's written, and to ensure that it's balanced and Zionist in nature. I came here to...
Okay. That was Naftali Bennett. Let's do this, right? We'll do this. We can't criticize them because of their cult, not religion, but they have the audacity to criticize so many other faiths. They don't even believe in Jesus. Well, Jesus is their creation. So if you believe in Jesus, you're a fool. The JJs are angry as fuck because they hate truth. Yeah, well, yeah, that's the video I was referring to earlier. Right. Right, it's right there. So let's just, for people that don't know, Naftali Bennett. Oh, look. The Naftali Bennett page is totally locked up. Can't edit this page either. Is an Israeli politician and businessman who served as the Prime Minister of Israel from June 13th, 2021 to June 30th, 2022. Oh, so it's actually, he served for a year and 27 days? And as the alternative Prime Minister from July 1st to November 8th, 2022. The alternative Prime Minister? What the fuck is that? Let's see, it actually says alternative Prime Minister of Israel. Is the de facto deputy of the Prime Minister of Israel and the second highest ranking cabinet minister, who is designated to replace the Prime Minister in a rotation government. The position was created de jure to resolve the 2018-2022 Israeli political crisis. So they created it to fit the narrative. Well, that makes sense. So Bennett was the leader of the New Right Party from 2018 to 2022, having previously led the religious Zionist and far-right political party, the Jewish Home, between 2012 and 2018. Is it? Do you need more? Do I need to, do we not understand who this is? The son of immigrants from the United States. Gee, that's weird. Why does he speak in such a weird accent if he's from the United States? Why do they all speak in such a weird accent if they're from the United States? How is Jesus their creation? It's amazing how stupid Christians are. Like, it's really kind of shocking, right? How do you guys not know your own book? The Bible is Jewish. All of the characters in the Bible are Jewish. They're not Christians. They literally talk about Gentiles as a separate group of people multiple times. They mention the separate Gentiles multiple times. Those Gentiles. Not us Gentiles, those Gentiles. Every character in that book is Jewish. I don't understand why people have such a hard time with that, including Jesus. It's such a ridiculous, nonsensical story. It really is, and it's so poorly written on purpose so that you have to have somebody explain it to you, because you don't just get to sit there and read it and understand it. It's written terribly. Especially the anti-Semitic Christians. Well, no, because Semitic and Semitism are two completely different things. Semitic is all of the people, the Palestinians, the Syrians, the Lebanese, the Houthi, the Iranians, the Iraqis, even the Africans, the North Africans. That's the Semitic region. All of those people are considered Semitic. They say they own everything, but they don't actually own that term. Semitism, on the other hand, let's show you guys we need more proof, right? I provide proof, you guys provide dumb comments. So we're gonna pull up the Google machine. We're gonna click Semitism definition. Semitism definition in the Google machine. We're gonna scroll down to Merriam-Webster. This is the top thing, right? Other than the AI review bullshit. Merriam-Webster. Merriam-Webster being like the standard. When you look up what words mean, you look up the Webster Dictionary. Merriam-Webster. It's not saying it. Say the word. It's weird, it's not working.
Semitism.
There you go. So, there's no funny business going on here.
Semitism.
Semitism definition. Number 1A, Semitic character or qualities. Number 1B, a characteristic feature of a Semitic language occurring in another language. Number 2, policy or predisposition favorable to them. Policy or predisposition. That's the rules and regulations, the policies, and the predisposition, how you go into something, how you think about something before you know any of the details or anything. You go into it already thinking that they get favor. Why should anyone get favor, let alone them? What did they do to deserve favor over the rest of us? So when you understand that that's what the term means, then you understand that anti-Semitism is simply anti-supremacy. That's literally all it is. Anti-supremacy. Supremacy is believing that your people should get favor. Policy and predisposition is favorable to you. That basically covers all aspects of life. The rules and regulations, and then the general perception is favorable to them. Right? Now, again, I'm really interested to see how these clowns even begin to debate this point. I didn't make it up. I couldn't have asked for Merriam-Webster to actually define it better than that. You know, that fits my narrative for sure, but how did I know that that was going to happen? I just happened to look it up one day. That's actually the thing that sort of got me on this path maybe like 15 years ago. Was hearing a whole bunch about anti-Semitism, so I decided to look it up. What does Semitism mean? Because, you know, again, I'm not stupid. I see ANTI-SEMI, capital SEMITISM, and I think, okay, that's clearly two words. I know what anti means. So what does Semitism mean? And when I first tried to look it up, I had to go through like 4 or 5 pages, specifically asked for Semitism definition, and I had to go through 4 or 5 pages of anti-Semitism this, anti-Semitism that, before I finally got to that Merriam-Webster definition. And when I did, I was shocked. I couldn't believe how obvious it is. And you know it's obvious because in 2021, they decided that they had hearings, they had like actual, I don't even know what you would call it. Like, what's it called when there's a meeting, some sort of litigation, some sort of conference or whatever it may be, to change the spelling of a word? I've never even heard of that happening. What other situation have you heard of a word being changed? It's been around since the 1880s, and suddenly it's not spelled correctly. It needs to be spelled a different way. So they had a meeting where we didn't have any say in it. They decided that Semitism should no longer be spelled ANTI hyphen capital SEMITISM, and instead should be spelled ANTI-SEMITISM, which grammatically just doesn't make any sense anyway. Like, why would that wouldn't be a thing? You're somehow now combining this hyphenated word for what reason? Well, the stated purpose was because they didn't want the people, the goyim, to understand that they didn't want us to think that anti-Semitism opposed something called Semitism. They literally wanted us to not think that Semitism was a thing. So they changed the spelling of a word that had been around since the 1880s. And it was originally coined to mean what it does, or to mean, you know, what it should. It was opposing the Semitism that was plaguing Germany at the time, and really the world. You know, this is shortly before they were going to make Uganda Israel. They were, you know, this is supposedly God's holy land and blah 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 blah. Well, they were going to put it in Uganda. They still wanted to take over Palestine, but they were going to make Uganda the place. They just knew that they weren't capable of, you know, farming and all the work necessary to keep the place in Uganda. So they just said fuck it and waited it out. But you tell me another example of a word being, you know, a word being changed. Show us proof, says a dumbass, like I haven't been showing you proof the whole time. You know, that's the one thing I can do and say proudly on here. Is this, none of this is my opinions. This is all just proof. It's all readily available to you on the system that they want you to look into. You know, it's all right there in front of you. All you got to do is look for it. But just like they did with blood libel, where blood libel means it's the accusation of them killing children, mainly Christian children, but killing children and draining their blood so that they could use it in their rituals, bake it into their matzah and use it for their rituals. This accusation has followed them for 1,000+ years. Blood libel. But if they hijack it and they start saying anytime you say something against them, that's blood libel. Most people aren't going to look into the definition and the history of it. They're just going to think, oh, that's a bad thing. You can't say that. You know. But this is how they operate. They hijacked anti-Semitism to make it their thing. Like you're a bad person for not believing that they should get favor. Do you realize how insane that is? Talk about rules for thee, but not for me. Right, exactly. They can say anything they want. Anytime, any way. You know, they can say the most horrible things, do the most horrible things on camera. And they don't get any sort of shit for it. You get in trouble for talking about it. We get in trouble for talking about the shit that they do. That's fucking insane, right? And I don't really understand what more I can do to prove this to you. Again, show me some other word that was changed like that. That they changed the spelling with the stated purpose to hide the meaning. The stated reason for changing the spelling was to hide the meaning of the word, so they can use it against us. And it's crazy too, because you know how Trump has the task force to combat anti-Semitism. He doesn't have the task force to combat racism. He doesn't have the task force to combat Christian hate. And again, all these other groups, they don't have a word. They don't have an anti-Semitism for them. Nobody else has that. They're the only ones that get this special word. But Trump's task force to combat anti-Semitism is spelled the old way for some strange reason. And it's probably because they don't like the idea that anti-Semitism spelled one word, all lowercase. They don't like that. They like the idea that it's ANTI-SEMITIS. They like that. It adds prestige because it's a capital letter. But this is how they operate, right? This is what they do. And then, again, look at the comments, right? Look at how instead of actually coming at me with any sort of intelligent, evidential arguments or anything like that, it's just dumbass clown shit. Please pay attention to me. Please pay attention to me. Itzhak Rabin. What a piece of shit you are. I don't even need to know what you think to know that you're a piece of shit. You know? And the thing is, for me personally, if I actually met some of them that were like, no, I am not, I was raised in this cult, but I do not identify or anything. Like you get the fake guys, like, what's his name? Ari Shafir. Ari Shafir is supposedly this comedian. He's so funny. The week that Kanye said what he wasn't supposed to say, and everybody was focused on Kanye because their media machine told us to focus on Kanye, Ari Shafir releases a comedy special called Goy. And he flat out tells you, the first 5 minutes of the special, he's talking about how, you know, when they call us goy, they're talking shit. And he claims to be this atheist, but he still calls himself a J. He still identifies as a J. Well, then you're not an atheist, because J isn't a race, right? It's an idea. It's a belief. And you get guys like him, guys like Don Rickles. Don Rickles was, again, one of these guys who his entire thing was making horrible racist jokes. He wasn't funny. He was just this old nasty J, and he would say these nasty things. There's the comic aid, the thing that Whoopi Goldberg and Billy Crystal and Robin Williams used to put on, Comic Relief or whatever it was. In one of the years, Don Rickles was one of the comedians. And it was only 1 year, probably because of this, but he goes out on stage and his microphone isn't working. So there's a black aide of some sort, whatever you want to call it, production assistant or whatever, that comes to bring him out a working microphone. He grabs the working microphone, turns and walks away. It takes about 5 steps, turns back to, like he remembers that he has the broken microphone in his hand as well. And instead of handing it to the black guy, he throws it and says, "Go fetch." And everybody boos, and he's like, "Oh, what? Boo me, come on. I make fun of everybody. I make fun of the black man. I make fun of the this and that. I make fun of the J." Well, not so much the J, but still. And if you think about it, the way that, like, Ari Shafir, again, the way that he equally makes fun of everybody, he makes fun of them for being the smartest people in the world. He makes fun of them for being, I mean, think about it. They have most of you believing that saying they have all of the money, the power, and the control, that's some sort of slur. That's akin to calling black people monkeys or some shit like that, right? You can't say that we have all the money, the power, and the control. That's terrible. How dare you say such a thing? That's a fantastic thing, especially when you look at the fact that they only make up 0.183% of the world's population and between 2 and 3% of the US population. I always read it was 2. Yesterday I read it was 3, so I'll make the adjustment. For 3% of the population at most, 3% of the United States population at most, to have all of the power, the control, and the money, that's a fantastic accomplishment. Why aren't they bragging about it? Other than the fact that it points to the idea that our society is not just some chicken with its head cut off running around, that all of the negative shit that happens on purpose. It's all controlled. They have all the money, the power, and the control, and they keep the Goyim in this position of servitude. Because according to their Talmud, they believe that they should all, that all of us should be their slaves. That when their Messiah comes, that each one of them gets 2,800 Gentile slaves. It's their beliefs. I'm not making this shit up. It's their beliefs. But they like to give us guys like Ari Shafir, who is supposedly this atheist who makes fun of everybody, and he doesn't. Nobody talks about the horrible things that they do. They talk about them being rich and powerful and smart and all this other shit like it's some sort of negative. I mean, that's in the Bible that they wrote, yeah. In their goofy Bible. That's one of those little cover pieces to cover up the true nature of the Bible. But hey, at least this guy knows a portion of his Bible. Listen, if you believe in Satan, then you're just being distracted. It's not the bad guys that you can see that are doing all these horrible things. No. It's the invisible spirit that lives down below us. that comically powerless God seems to allow to do everything and can't seem to override. Even though God can dinkle, dinkle, dink anything in and out of existence. Look, the dumb J, Isaac Rabin, he can't argue what I'm saying. He can't be like, no, you're wrong about this. Let me explain it. It's psychosis. This is psychosis. It's psychosis to know the history of things. It's psychosis to know what we're supposed to know. Gotcha. This douche isn't going to say anything. God has given Satan free reign over this word when he fell from heaven. Now, that's not how it works. The story of Job should tell you everything you need to know, right? Again, Job is a Jewish guy. He is not a Christian. But there's a group that's having a meeting with God, and somehow the devil sneaks in among the group. And yet when God sees the devil among the group, he comes running up like, hey, devil, hey, look, see that guy down there? That guy worships me. And the devil's like, hey, remember how I told you I'm going to trick him? Watch. Well, he only worships you because you give him so much, because Job was considered like one of the richest, most powerful men of the time, right? And so God's like, well, that's not true. He'd still worship me even if he didn't have everything. Go ahead. I'm going to let you do anything you want. Take away everything. You just leave him alone personally, but you can take anything you want from him, and I bet he still worships me. So Job's entire family gets wiped out. Job loses all of his he and she asses. and you know, just becomes this poor man who blah 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 blah, right? All of his advantage is taken away. And so the next time the devil sneaks in, God runs up again and is like, hey, you see, I told you. He'd still worship me, because that's where the whole, well, God giveth and God taketh away, that whole bullshit comes out from. That's this story. And the devil's like, watch. Well, he only worships you because you allow him to have such good health. And God's like, damn it. I'll show you. Okay, you just can't kill him, but you can do anything you want to him. I bet he still worships me. So now this time, you know, he's riddled with boils that he has to scrape off with broken pieces of pottery. He just loses everything he has left. And this is all like chapter 1 and 2 of this story. The story is like 42 chapters long. The first 2 or 3 are this narrative. And then the next like 40 some chapters are Job sitting there with 3 of his friends, and they're going, well, you should just give up. You should just denounce God and walk away. And Job's like, why should I denounce God? God giveth and God, and they have this fucking just goofy conversation, just back and forth over. It's so tedious. It's such a horrible read. 40 some chapters of it. All because God was trying to prove to the devil that people will still worship him even if they don't get favor. It's just so fucking stupid. And it's a Jewish story. It's not about Christians. He's not a Gentile. The Gentiles are mentioned in the story, but he's not one. But you clearly don't understand anything in the Bible. Right. That's the narrative. That's a dumb. So what am I getting wrong here? What part did I get wrong? Instead of doing the same blanket, you don't understand the Bible comment, why don't you just tell me what part I got wrong? You won't. Christians follow Christ. Oh, you're so stupid. Yeah, well, Christ was a Jew, and none of the story that we're talking about are Christians. Seriously, it's like, are Are you going to argue that the 7 dwarfs aren't main characters in Snow White? Like, they're the main characters. This is who the story is about. It's such a terrible, terrible book and terribly stupid. And it's crazy again. So Christians believe that the bad guys in the Bible, because Satan is like barely mentioned in the Bible. He's not the bad guy. The head bad guy is Abraham. You know, the 3 Abrahamic religions. But Abraham is the head bad guy, and he's the father of the bad guy people. You believe that the bad guys in the Bible, the ones that kill your Jesus, your superhero, your Christian God's only kid, are also your Christian God's favorite people, the chosen people. Let me ask you this. If you're not chosen, then what are you? According to the Bible, if you're not chosen, you're a slave. According to Jesus, slaves should obey their master as they would him. Jesus is a big fan of slaves. Gentile, Goyim slaves. I mean, this like you don't know your shit. And you because of your ignorance and your stupidity, you want to blame it on me for knowing it. Let's see. It didn't come around 500, 300, 500 BC. Yeah, sure. Sure. Yeah, I hear one Jewish person say Jesus is the Messiah. Right, because they don't believe that. They believe the Messiah is coming, and when he does come, then each of them get 2,800 Gentile slaves. Because that's possible. These meek, feeble, fucking inbred goofuses are going to be able to control 2,800 people, each of them. It's so stupid. Nobody is a J by race. That's not a thing. You cannot convert to a race. It's just such a like, again, it's like so hard to understand what people don't get about this. Just like all these Christians arguing the points I'm making. This is the Bible. I didn't make this shit up. You're the one that believes this nonsense. I don't even believe it. I'm just telling you what you believe because you clearly don't know it. But this idea that you can convert to a race of people? No, nobody can convert to a race. You're either black, white, Chinese, whatever it may be. But that's the Asian. That's the race that you are. Nobody can be like, you know what? I'm just gonna start doing this from now on and tell everybody I'm Chinese. Like that's not how that works.
My godmother converted to Greek Orthodox, but when you ask her what her heritage is, Greek is not one of them because she's not Greek.
Right. It's just, you can't convert to Greek. She could want it all she wants. She can have half Greek babies. She can get all the Greek injections that she can get. Doesn't make her Greek.
But she's Greek Orthodox.
Yeah, the religion, Greek Orthodox, yes. The cult. But she's not stupid enough to tell people she's Greek because that wouldn't be accurate. You cannot convert to somebody else's thing. What do you want now? No one is converting to Judaism here. What are you talking? Yeah, there are black people that have converted. Sammy Davis Jr., he was a pretty prominent one. Nell Carter, another one. Black person that converted to Judaism doesn't somehow make them not black anymore.
My ex-mother-in-law, she was not nowhere near from that region of the world.
Most of them aren't anyway. They just came out with a study that said 95% of Israelis don't have Semitic blood. You know, all the Milikowskis and you know, just all the different names. These are all like Russian, Polish, German, most of them are American. American and European. When they call the Palestinians anti-Semitic, that's just stupid. The Palestinians are the Semitic people. They're the ones that have been in the region forever. By the way, if you're watching, don't forget to like, share, and sub. Shit helps. You know, it's okay. It's okay that you stand up to the system. I know you've been told your whole life you're not allowed to, but it's okay. Take 2 seconds, click the share button, and share it on Facebook. And if you need to, if you're a coward, then share it. This guy's crazy. Come tell him how he's crazy. Do whatever you can to get people to come here, especially if you think you know people that can actually make reasonable arguments. Help. If you don't like it, dislike it. Click the dislike button. Let me know just how mad you are at the truth being told. You like being a slave. No, you like it. We haven't even been able to get it in the AIPAC yet. That sucks. Look at all these fucking, hey, you smoked a pot. Yeah, I can't argue with you, because if pot is such a fucking detrimental thing, how come you can't come at me with better shit? And don't you know it's meth and crack? It's a combination. Let me insult you just by your name without stating an opinion, but don't forget like, share, and sub. I called you a coward who can't make better arguments. I'm hoping you'll share it with people that actually can make arguments and not prove what a cowardly, disgusting piece of shit you are. Right? I'm trying to help you because you're the dumbass. And I didn't American. Why do you think America donates $4 billion? It's not $4 billion. Stop exaggerating. It's only $3.8 billion a year. One lump sum payment in the first month in January. They get a cash influx from us of $3.8 billion every year. While in this 10-year span. The memorandums of understanding last 10 years. And again, I don't expect any of you to understand what that shit is because you don't know. It's been kept from you. The memorandum of understanding is a big fucking deal. And good luck trying to find any information on it because you won't. $3.8 billion a year is given to a first world country with no like stipulations, no strings attached, nothing. Any other country that we give large portions of money to, we give it to them spread out over the year. We give it, we have to see what's going on. We have some sort of say in how that money's spent. Nope, not them. And that's just the base. That's just the base amount. In 2022 or I think it was 2022, they did a huge operation in Palestine where they killed a few hundred people, and after which demanded an additional $1 billion be given to them because of expenses, and they got it. I think it's like they've been given like $22 billion, maybe it's 17.8 billion, I'm not sure. Between 17.8 and $22 billion since October 7th of 2023. The total false flag operation where 0 bad guys were killed or taken hostage. All just fake bullshit. Just look at how look at how stupid this is. It was my fault, you're right. Y-O-U-R, right. Gotta love the smart people. That they're much smarter than me. They just don't know which your to use. Gotta love it. What's your point with the bad guy? They should be eliminated. The cult needs to be eliminated. Any of them who want to denounce the cult and be like, no, we're all here together. This is all just, no more pedo stuff. No more supremacy. I'm with you guys. I'm just a person. I'm not something special. I'm not chosen by God, and the rest of you are just my cattle. We're all here together. Any of those people, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to know you. You're welcome to stay, all that. But when I win the presidency in 2028, because I am running for president in 2028, one of the first things I'm going to do, not like every other president who the first thing he does is sign a bunch of Israel stuff, surrounded by a bunch of penguins. I'm going to sign the thing that says that cult is no longer welcome in the United States. And the last thing that we will pay for them is the plane ticket to bad guy land. They can get what they want. They can have bad guy land. We'll get all the Palestinians. We'll take them out. We'll put them up here. We'll give them a nice situation here. And with the option that they can go back as soon as the plague is cleansed, which I don't think it'll take very long. But no more defense, no more anything. If you believe in that cult, I'm going to give you what you want. You get to go to bad guy land and be all the cult members you want to be. I don't understand why anybody would not want that. I'm giving you what you want. Your own special, chosen, holy land. And we'll see how long that lasts. Right?
You just have to do all your own work.
Right. You have to do everything for yourself. No more American support. You don't even need us, right? We're just the dumb goyim anyway. So what do you need our support for?
With your own burgers.
Yeah, right. You ever seen religion? You ever seen religion on weed? This is the best that they can do. I just want to hear about a submarine, then go watch parts 1 through 9. I say it every time. If you really do give a shit about submarines, go watch Submarines Are Not Real, parts 1 through 9, and it'll debunk it for you completely. Go ahead. If that's really your motivation. If you're not just trying to change the subject because you can't argue the points being made. But we already know what your goal is. Ask yourself, why is it that none of these comments actually address what's being said and debunk it? Tell me what I'm wrong about. Why do all of the comments look like crybabies who are getting their shit kicked in? So they're just desperately trying to say something to save face and hurt me back. All of you need to look up Metitza Bipa. Metzitza B hyphen or B apostrophe PEH. Go look up what they do to their own children with the cutty slicey sucky thing. And if they do that to their own children, imagine what they do to everybody else. There's a story in a Bad Guy Land website. All bad guys wrote it. There's no goyim interference whatsoever. The page is called Israel Hayom, Hayom. That's the website itself. They have an article, an expose called Bottom of Darkness. And it's all about the ritual sexual abuse that is ever present in their community. Northeast, Southwest, secular, Orthodox, ultra whatever, like all of it's the same. Doesn't matter what sect they're in. The abuse is the same across the board. Again, that's what they do to their own. Oh, wait, no. All of those thousands of actors and actresses that have come out and said these same things over the years about they that control Hollywood, they're all just lying conspiracy theorists. The most important film ever made is a movie called Hollywoodism. Hollywoodism is not some conspiracy theory movie. It's not some Alex Jones Obama deception. In 1996 or 1998, or maybe 97, they produced a documentary style film where, it's all them. They wrote it, they're the stars, they produced, and it's all about how it's not how they created Hollywood, but that they created Hollywood. And that they completely controlled every aspect of it and ran it with an iron fist. And there's no point where they talk about, and then at some point we just lost control and we don't control it anymore. No. But it's a movie that if I made the movie, I made a word for word remake, I would get panned left and right. You want to go grab another pack? I would get panned left and right for using anti-Semitism tropes, and you can't say they control Hollywood, and just all this crazy shit that they would say. And yet they wrote it. And at one point, even one of the women says, you could essentially say that the American dream is the bad guy-ish dream. Like I say, I would get in trouble for saying all those things. They made a film bragging about it. I highly, it's the only thing I insist that you watch. There are lots of things that you can watch that give you great information. A Rich Man's Trick is a great source of information, but it's again, it's their information. It's bullshit. A Rich Man's Trick flat out tells you that every single video you've ever seen that's sort of controversial is put out by the CIA and the FBI. They put all the movies out to control the narrative. That's why those movies are allowed to have so many views and shit. That's why a movie like 6 Million Lies is hidden and it's really hard to find. But Hollywoodism doesn't fall into that category of conspiracy docs. This is they made this proudly. And it flat out tells you that they've used how they control Hollywood and that they used it to control everything. Our religious beliefs, our historical beliefs, our political beliefs, they were all manufactured through Hollywoodism. It's just shocking. It's shocking to see the movie and see just how brazen they are. They can't be dumb enough. I mean, I guess they could be, to not realize what they're doing. They just don't care. They don't care that they've made, the best evidence ever. They don't care. What are we going to do about it? They have us fighting over skin color. They have us fighting over sexual identity and sexual preference and which sky daddy is the right sky daddy and all these other things. Tell us about your CP charges. Show me them. Show me. If I have charges, then it should be available, right? You should be able to look it up and tell me what to look up, and then, I'll show you on here. If you think I have any sort of charges like that, then prove it. This is the kind of stupidity they do. And they don't realize that all they're doing is proving that what I'm saying is hurting them. They're trying to throw it back at me because it hurts them so much. But you can't throw it back at me. There is no history. The only history I have when it comes to child exploitation materials, not CP, is demanding that we kill them. We kill all the people who produce or partake in any of that shit. That's not something one of them does. One of them comes on a feed where the guy states that we should kill them all and tries everything they can to distract and shut the shit down and all that shit. You know, I can't stand Gordon Flowers. I think he's a fucking bigot piece of shit, Trump supporting bad guy. And yet this man exposes more pedos than anybody else or than most people. And so because of that, not only does he get a pass, he gets my support. I don't care what you do. If your goal is to out and destroy pedos, you got my support. Yet, not the other way around, right? These guys are going to come in here and try everything they can to distract and make baseless claims and all this other shit. Show me the example. Show me where I've been charged with anything. Love to see it. It'll never happen. Bad guy land is number one. Who's mad now? Look how mad I am. Sweetheart, look how mad I am. Isn't this what I look like when I'm mad?
Oh, yeah.
If anybody knows what I look like when I'm mad, it's her. So she's agreeing with you. I must be mad right now. I've run out of things to say. I'm going to report you. I'm not smart enough to debunk anything you have to say. Terroristic threats. What terroristic threat? I'm talking about giving them what they want. I never mentioned anything about killing anybody. I wish it wasn't like that. You know, I give all of them the opportunity to renounce their terrorist fucking cult, their supremacy cult. You do that, you can stay, you can live a good life. I'll make you a fucking, a beacon for other people. I want to give you what you want. But of course, you can't acknowledge that shit, right? Are Christians bad guys too? Of course they are. They're just misguided. I think the average Christian has good intentions. The average Christian doesn't talk about supremacy. The average Christian isn't all about pedophilia and all that shit. The average Christian actually wants to save your soul. They want to convert you to their bullshit because they truly want to help you. They're just misguided and stupid. Same thing with Muslims. Muslims want to bring you in. They want to convert you. They want you to be a part of their thing for your benefit. Bad guys, they want you to be a Christian. Because if you're a Christian, you think you're second class and that they are the special ones. Look at all these crazy comments. Send the police. This guy is saying words I don't like and I'm not smart enough to debunk them. I'm not smart enough to comment back. So help, I need help. This guy's better than me. Help. Goyim aren't supposed to be better than me. This is what they fucking do, man. This is how it works. Hindus, what about them? They're just more misguided fucking idiots. Given another... So when you look at the world and you look at it like a target map, right? You lay it out, the flat earth that we live on. The center of that mass is going to be bad guy land. It's going to be their shit. And they, I think they realized a long time ago that they can't have their circle and then the next circle just be all one thing. Because eventually the people realize, like, hey, these bad guys shouldn't control us anymore. Let's overthrow them and get the information. And then, they do things like build the supposed Tower of Babel. Once they figure out the truth, they try to get to the top and see the dome and see what's going on. So they realize that they can't let us all be one cohesive force against them. So now instead of it being one circle for them and then one big circle. Now it's one circle for them, and then think about the Target logo. The second circle is the insulation for them in the center, and inside that second circle is Christians and Muslims. And every few hundred years or so, which one of those is the good guy switches. But you have this warring faction that distracts. They're distracted by each other. And they also insulate the one in the middle. And then when you look at that third ring, that's when you get like the Eastern religions, the much more peaceful things, the much more easy to conquer religions. You get the whole Native American side of things where, you know, supposedly their belief structure said that if a ship comes from the east with a white man on it, you should swim out to it and bring gifts and worship that man. They were already pre-prepared for the invasion. Again, if you believe the historical narrative, which I don't. But they put all these different systems in place as distractions, as protections, because you have to get through so many of these different circles and groups just to be able to get to that center circle. And again, somehow they've tricked the Christians into believing that they aren't even their own God's chosen people. Like, I just can't stress this enough. You guys believe you are second class in your own religion, and that a completely different religion that hates you is your God's chosen people. If you're not chosen, then what are you? But look at this. Look at how, again, it's just the same dumb shit. The same dumb, like I showed you guys the Team Jorge aspect of things earlier. Clearly the program only knows the term schizo, because like if you call me schizophrenic, you clearly don't know what schizophrenia is. There's no fracturing of personalities here. There's no talking to imaginary people. There's no thinking that there's people in the bushes trying to get me. This isn't schizophrenia. If you're gonna call me something, at least make it more accurate so you don't look as stupid. But you can't wrap your head around that, I guess. Does anybody believe that there really are just Christians? There's just regular old American Christians around here mad at the guy that thinks we should kill pedos and stop giving our billions of tax dollars to a foreign entity to commit genocide. Americans really, they're like, no, we need to keep giving them all of our money. We need to send our troops over there so they can die for their bullshit. You really believe that? There's no fucking way that these are just American people. This is Team Jorge. This is Act IL. And because they are the dumbest, most inbred people in the world, this is the very best they can do, right? They can't make any arguments. Isaac Rabin, somebody who is as settler named and persona as possible, they can't fucking say anything. Nothing I'm saying is wrong. Nothing I'm saying is untrue. I meant to do the deeper dive into AIPAC today. I just got distracted, and I'll probably do it tomorrow. But there's literally no question that they control our narrative. How do you not like Gordon Flowers? Did you hear what I said? Do you not hear it? Like, I guess if English isn't your first language, then you probably do miss a lot of what's being said. But he's a bigot piece of shit, and he's a bad guy. His name is Alex Rosen. He's a fucking piece of shit. If he were to denounce that identity, that cult that he belongs to, he'd be even better. But the fact that he exposes and gets a lot of these pedos in trouble, as much as I don't like him, he does good work. Keep going, man. You have my support. Because it's not just some black and white thing. Well, I belong to the cult, so anything that doesn't go with the cult, I don't agree with. And anything that is with the cult, I'm just going to blindly follow. If Gordon Flowers really did want to protect children, he'd be calling out his cult. Especially if he was opposed to pedophilia. Cutty slicey sucky is pedophilia, no matter how you want to slice it. I don't care what kind of cultish ritual you say it is, and it's the most important. It's as important as any other mitzvah, and nothing else is more important than it. It's the most important thing in their cult, the cutty slicey sucky. That's fucking disgusting. I know if like I was dumb enough to identify as something, right? Oh, I am a Democrat. I am a Republican. I am a Christian. I am a nationalist, or whatever you want to fucking call it. If it then came out that the group that I belong to was practicing like fucking pedophile rituals and so many members of the group were outed as pedos, and then the group comes to their rescue instead of trying to hold them responsible, and just all, I wouldn't be a part of the group anymore. I know growing up, I always had such a hard time with Christianity, and that was the shit that was pushed on me from every direction. And I would just think like, one, it's dumb as fuck. Even as a kid, I thought the narrative was dumb as fuck. But two, the stories of the children being abused in every level of it, every denomination, everything is just riddled with pedos. That was more than enough for me to say, I don't want to be a part of this. If one day I die and I'm sitting there at St. Peter's gates and they're asking me, well, why didn't you tithe like the Bible tells you to? I'm going to flat out be like, well, why did you guys allow so much pedophilia? People will cry about free will. Well, what about the children's free will? Who protects that? I know if I was God and I knew that there was this organization that was founded by and for pedos that used me as their protection mechanism, I'd be striking those motherfuckers dead, especially if I was the God that you guys believe in, that's this dickhead who likes to kill people. Why isn't God killing them? Just stop, bro. YOUR embarrassing yourself. Come on. That's the best they can do. YOUR embarrassing yourself. God protects the children's spirit. Yeah, he protects the children's spirit. Never mind the fucking, all the pedophile shit that fucks them up for the rest of their lives, and, it's just the horror that they have to go through. Their spirit is protected. And that's how you reconcile with that shit. Oh, yeah. As long as you get to go to heaven, right? How do you have free will and God's plan? How does that work? How is that possible? If it's God's plan, then free will doesn't matter. It's all part of God's plan. Okay. It's free will, right? So then there is no God's plan. But then if it's God's plan, then all of the children that are consistently raped by clergy is all part of God's plan. No, when you're a soul, you have no memory of what happened to you. Blah, 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 blah. Where are you getting this information from? What arrogant place are you pulling this shit out of your ass from? You have no memory of what happened to you, and the free will of others isn't controlled by God. That's how good our God is. It lets us choose where we want to spend eternity. Where is this doofus getting this shit from? I guarantee every time somebody wins a race or catches a touchdown, and they're like, oh, praise be to God. I just want to say without God, none of this is possible. They're not like, oh, hey, God didn't do that. You did that. They don't say that shit. It's fucking insane. Expose, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you look at physical things. That's why you indulge in... I look at physical things, you know, like children being raped, being unacceptable. What a piece of shit I am. I look at physical things like a genocide taking place, where a decent portion of those being genocided are actually Christians. Lots and lots of Palestinians are actually Christians. But yeah, I look at those physical things and not the bullshit that you fucking decide to believe because of. And notice how I said, where did you get your information from? They don't have anything. This guy's just going to keep saying dumb nonsense. Yeah, his plan is for us to choose where his creation wants to go. They can go in extreme, blah, 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 blah. What kind of dumbass shit is this? This is the stuff you have to say in order to accommodate your stupidity. I into understand the mind and perspective arc of God will harden your heart and lead you astray. Blah, blah. Look at this dumb shit. This is just fucking stupid. You can assault me, but not acknowledge me. I can assault you, but not acknowledge you. You have the ability to connect with him, blah, blah, blah. So are the children being raped by clergy? Are they just not closing their eyes hard enough when they pray? Are they not pushing their hands together hard enough when they pray? Please, God, help me. Stop these clergy from continuing to rape me. Are they just not praying as hard as you do it? Yes, bad advance having a free will. This is just stupid. Again, answer where you get this information from. Demon manifested when he hears about, yup, it's the demons now. These are the thoughts of a sane man. I don't believe in fucking fairy tales, so yeah. The same guy that thought there was only 1 million Christians in the world. I thought there was 1 million Christians in the world? Are you mixing up your M's and your B's? And there's as many as 2 billion Christians in the world. You dumb fuck. But see, this is what they do. And I always tell people, like, you can take this little piece of information with you for the rest of your life. Outside of this, of the video, you can take this with you. Pay attention to what people argue. When people start exaggerating or making up your argument instead of answering for what you say, they already know they've lost. When they start saying things that aren't what's being talked about, or they have to make up shit like, oh, you said 1 million Christians. Yeah, show me that video. Like, it's just such stupidity, but this is how they operate. They argue what they can argue. If I said there was only 1 million Christians in the world, well, that would be a fucking stupid thing that anybody would and should argue. Right? That's something that they're capable of arguing because it's nonsense. It's a dumb fucking, it's a dumb argument to begin with. So they have the ability to argue it if that's in fact what I said. This is how they operate. They make shit up. There's the biggest reason with over 2.7 billion, and that's recorded numbers worldwide Christians. Yeah, this guy is just saying shit. Doesn't want to say where he gets his information from, but he's just saying it. ZZ Top cover band, yep. And just ignoring the other three. Bro's definitely a pedo. Y-O-U-R. Welcome, chat. This is how stupid these fucking idiots are. Again, they have to make up, and they don't even get their yours right. How do you not get your yours right? How are you that stupid? I don't even know. I don't know, but if I were to end up like you, I would never take advice from yourself. Yup. Never take advice. Yup. You're Y-O-U-R paranoid and having a meltdown. This is how stupid they are. Blah, 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 blah. So you don't have a source for your information. You're just sort of making shit up, I guess. Yep, that's why. That's why the numbers drop, because it's not interference. It's just at the exact same time everybody's like, meh. Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, again, what's the point of fucking reading all this shit? It's just the same dumb shit. Christianity, and now we're changing our shit, blah, blah, blah. Somebody know my EBD, up, blah, 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 blah. Why aren't Christians more proud of what they believe, that they address it and say it for what it is? Like, it's so strange how dumb Christians are. Yeah. Annie's stupid ass saying stupid things. This is what you have to do. I get it. I get it. You know, you're inbred and dumb as fuck. Most of you are just bot profiles anyway. But the controllers of those bot profiles are just inbred, fucking insane. Like, go look up any interview you can find with a settler. They are insane. But they're dumb. They're just dumb, inbred fucks. This is the best they can do. Oh yeah, when you were 12? Oh yeah? When was this? Come on. All of you are welcome to prove you're not bots. I've been saying this for over a year. All you have to do is make a video called Guy Williams Sucks. And you show your face, you a person, a human being, talking shit about me. You tell me you're stupid and you're dumb and you get whatever you want. Make any video you want about how bad I am. Send it to me and I'll show it on my live feed. I'll show it like this so everybody can see it. And we can see that you're an actual person and not just a bot. Would you believe that 100% of you have avoided that? Not one of these fucking clowns has been willing to make a video. Why? Because they know what they look like. Most of them are bots, but the people that are actually behind it, it'd be pretty obvious who they are. And so they continue to hide in the shadows, talking all the shit they want, but refusing to prove that they're real people. Yep. Is any be patient waiver? Yep, that's what it is. And I'm guessing you think you're smart. No, I know I am, and I know you're fucking stupid. You're gonna make one tonight. Let's see it. I can't wait. I bet this is another one of these empty promises. You make it and then you send it to me. and I'll show it on the live feed. We'll prove that somebody's a real person here. I'd be willing to bet you won't do it, though. The fruits that pay attention to the word, the reviews, blah, 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 blah. Paranoid because, oh, don't you mean are you just talking to you're stroking your other people off? Hoping that they because you don't know which your to use, so now you're going with he? Detroit Police Department. I'd love to see anybody call the police. So there's this guy, and he's on YouTube, and he's talking about shit I'm not smart enough to answer for. So, what do I do? Please come say something to him. Look how stupid you are. The desperation is just ridiculous, man. It's the same sort of desperation that commits genocide against children. And the reason that they do it is they say, well, the children are going to grow up to be adults and they'll rise up against us. So it's okay for us to kill them now when they're children. That's the type of psychos that we're talking about here. You're, Y-O-U-R, obsessed with children. Yes, I am absolutely obsessed with killing pedophiles. You are correct. I think we should 100%, until we can get rid of you pedophiles who consistently rape children, I'm going to continue to obsess over it. Proudly. I'm not like you who goes, well, I want to go to heaven when I die, so I don't want to call out any of the people, the religious people that are consistently caught doing this. I don't want to say anything because I want to go to heaven. And you know that your God is a big pedo fan, so you don't want to upset it. You don't want to say anything that's going to upset that pedo fan God of yours. It would be funny if someone pulled up. No one would. We're talking about cowards. You pull up here, you're going to get spit in your face. I'm going to spit in your face and then beat your ass if you try to do something, which you won't. If I spit in your face, you guys are probably going to open your mouths and shit. Oh, yes. Oh. I'd love to see the police pull up. I'd love it. They've done it before. They used to do that all the time. And the police got sick of it. But see, you can't argue against what I'm saying, so now you're proving your desperation. This is how this works all the time. You're calling for some sort of backup because you can't make any good points. You've been outed as the pedo that you are, and the genocide supporter that you are, and there's nothing you can do to prevent people from realizing it, so you're just desperate now. Blah, 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 blah. Yep, I'm basically threatening people on the internet. Yeah, I promise you, if you show up to my house, I will defend myself. Absolutely promise you that. There's no questioning that. But keep trying. Keep trying with your dumb desperation. Oh, here we go again. You're, Y-O-U-R, on a mean bender. Y-O-U-R. Oh, look at this dumb ass nonsense. Yes. That's what I just said. So desperate. Such desperate stupidity, and it's what it always is. That's all you can bring. Nobody's gonna sit here and be like, look, dude, it should be telling. How come nobody has come in here in defense of the bad guys? Dude, you're wrong. the J people are good. They help these people. They do this good. They do that good. You know, they're always looking out. They this, that, and the other. How come nobody ever comes in with a bunch of arguments as to why I'm wrong? Shouldn't that say something? They can't even they can't talk about any good stuff that they do because they don't. There's literally nothing they can bring up and be like, no, we're good people because of this. We're good people because of that. That should be extremely telling to people. Look at the crybaby nonsense. And remember, all of these people are here because I allow them to be. If they were really, bothering me so much and they were making me look bad and I was incapable of defending myself against their stupidity, I just block them. Now, granted, they make a second, third, fifth, 20th profile so that they could continue watching. But it's just in the fucking in the just look at it for what it is. The only reason these pricks are allowed to even be here is because I let them be here. Because all they do is back me up, right? Instead of addressing the things that I'm saying and debunking them, by saying all the other dumb shit they say, it just backs up what I'm saying. Trust me, if any of these fuckers had better things to say, they would. They would absolutely be calling me out for this, and I'm wrong about that because, and morning, butts. I can't believe more people don't find this hilarious. It's hilarious this guy talks about killing pedos and overthrowing the J control scheme and stopping the genocide. That's hilarious. This is as good as they get, man. You lose all credibility when you attack God and the Bible and Jesus Christ. Right. You're a dumb sheep. You want to keep your head down and you want to go to heaven. So you're not going to call out the pedophile stuff and all the ridiculousness and the history of it and all that. You lose all credibility. Laugh it up. I am. Definitely. You Christians are the goofiest, dumbest. Like, the Muslims are dumb, but at least they're like loyal and they're focused on their thing. The Jays are obviously the worst, but the Christians are the dumbest by far. Their narrative is just stupid. Like, the Bible is just a stupid fucking story. But then there's the truth behind it, which is that it's a narrative presented to you by a completely different cult that makes themselves the main beneficiary, and you do it, you believe it, you go with it. You believe you're not even the top dogs in your own fucking belief structure. If that's not stupid sheep nonsense, like if you're some sort of dictator or you're some sort of, emperor, some sort of ruler, that's what you do. You give people a belief structure that puts them in second position, like that the king has this royal blood, the royal bloodline. Well, you're not a part of that royal bloodline, so you don't get any of the good stuff that comes with it. And you're like, yeah, well, they are the king, so. Like, it's the same sort of stupidity. It It's amazing how it permeates so many different things. But if I was, you know, that sort of dickhead dictator, I would do that exact thing. I would be worried that people would figure it out, but apparently they haven't. They've literally been reading the narrative. It says it right there in front of them, and they still just believe it, I guess. It's fucking crazy, man. It's such a crazy, crazy shit. My life experiences lead me to Jesus Christ. Oh, I'm so glad you said that. Give me one. Give me one thing that leads you to that's quantifiable and people would go, oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. Give me one thing. Give me one miracle. I love how the Christians always talk about the miracles. Give me one. You know how many people have died for their beliefs in Jesus? Exactly the point. Exactly the point. They've been tricked into dying over some bullshit that doesn't even make them the head guy. It doesn't even place them at the top of the pyramid, and they're dying for that. Do you understand how stupid that is? But come on, I want to hear your one thing. Your one, you know, miracle proven this happened and there's no other way to explain it but Jesus. Too many to count. Ah! Oh, they always say the same shit. They always hide behind this. There's too many to count, so you can't come up with just one. Isn't that funny how that works? Like this is literally like playground sort of bullshit. Some kid makes some claim, and you go, "Really? Tell us about it." Oh, well, it's too much to tell. I can't tell you because you know it's just too much here, and you just won't. You know, you won't get it. There's too many to count. This is just so stupid. You found it on Christian, found it on Christian, blah 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 blah. This country was actually a republic, found on the idea that people can believe whatever they want, if you believe the narrative you're given, which I don't. How the morality debate isn't flawed is something somebody said. I love how this person, like, they're so desperate to put me on their level that they keep telling you or themselves that I'm mad. Right? Oh, we got him mad now. Like they're so desperate to want to affect me as much as I affect them that they literally have to keep telling themselves that they're making me mad. I usually laugh and goof around when I'm mad about something. I'm so mad. Oh, what about the pagans killed for their religion by bad guys and Christians? Again, you just have to believe the narrative written by the winners. How do you know it's true? You don't. We live in a country, or we live in a society where the Tartarian narrative is clearly a thing. Like it's undeniable that some more advanced version of us was here. And they don't even really lie about it. They tell you, you know, the cities were founded over and over again. But when you look at the historical narrative that doesn't tell you about Tartaria, that doesn't tell you about, you know, a reset or anything like that, then you know it's a lie, and anything else associated with it is a lie. And when you know all these fucking dumb Jays do is lie, why would you believe any of it? You're YOUR not even close to my level, bud. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you acknowledging that. I've done a lot to be able to know the difference between which "your" to use. You know, I did make it through 3rd grade. Thank you. Thank you. That's probably the best compliment you've given me. The reason Christianity is the biggest religion in the world. It's not the biggest religion in the world, you dumbass. Islam is by far the biggest religion in the world. But like, again, this is the dumb shit that there's no reason why anybody is religious other than they were told to. They were brainwashed into it. Not one of you has any sort of proof, any sort of situation, example of something that is only associated with the hand of God. You were tied to a train tracks. You know, a train was coming, whistles blowing, you're screaming, oh my God, I'm stuck, I'm stuck. You closed your eyes to brace for impact, and then suddenly you heard the train going by because, you know, you're standing on the side of the railroad tracks. That is a miracle. Something that can't be explained any other way than I guess God must have stepped in and changed its mind. Because part of its plan was for you to die on the railroad tracks, but I guess something changed its mind and it was like, nah, forget it. And you say you have too many of those things to be able to count. I can't. I have so many miracles where it's only explainable by God's interference. I seem pretty mad, yup. Look how mad I am. Hey, you realize people can be fooled into believing things aren't true, right? What about all the religions you don't believe? Oh, look at that one. Oh, I love that comment. I'm surprised I didn't say it myself. That was a great comment. Just like how you believe in your thing, but don't believe in any of the other 1,000+ religions out there, deities and all this other shit that exists. Well, I don't believe in all those same things like you, plus one more, plus yours. I think Ricky Gervais said it to Steve Carell. Shut his dumb ass up when he was trying to grill him. But again, what do you think? You think all those people are wrong, right? All those people have been fooled into believing something that isn't true, but not you. Your arrogance comes in and you say, no, my thing is right because somebody told me to believe it, so I do. You literally have no reason to believe what you do. But this is how it works. Trust me, if praying to God and Jesus wasn't working, I would not be the number one. It's not the number one religion in the world, you stupid ass. Theism requires how epistemological standards, low epistemological standards. Belief in religion faith requires an absence of logic. It's just that simple. There's no good reasons to presume cosmos creating gods exist in the first place. Exactly. And the fact is, like, these are like easy points. These are like, you make these points, and then you would think somebody would go, no, there's this. Obviously, there's this. But they never do, because they can't. Admitting to watching or anything. Yep, I admitted to watching child exploitation materials. When was this? Like, how stupid and desperate do you have to be? This is how stupid and desperate you have to be. You clearly misunderstood what I said. I never said that. I said countless people have died for their faith in Jesus Christ, and no one is willing to lie. No one does willingly for a lie. Again, are you stupid? Do you really? So all those people that die for Muslim shit, they're all fools and they're all wrong, but you couldn't be. What do you think we need to do? Is that recording our... So again, instead of just explaining this one miracle that happened, which you can't seem to do, now you're coming up with some bullshit. What do you want us to record them? This is how fucking insane these people are. Do you live your life for you for God and born and blah, blah, blah. You do for me. It's just so stupid. If you spam the pedo flag, then you get removed. I don't care. You're the one that then proves it by making another profile. I always tell them, are you doing this for you or for God? That's what you tell gay people. And they always laugh at you because you're a stupid ass. All I have to say is keep doing what you're doing. If you got people this triggered, you're doing something right. Exactly. Exactly. If I was wrong, why would so many people spend hours every single day desperately trying to get my attention and tell me to stop doing what I'm doing? They literally have nothing else going on in their lives. Like it's pretty goofy. Hello, the best friends. Who gives a shit? Blah, blah, blah. Nope, nobody's up. There you go. We have a pedo, an admitted pedo. You fly the pedo flag, you admit to being a pedo, and there you go. All planets are round is a one design circle planet. All planets are round is a one design circle planet, no triangles and no squares. Oh God. So now this dumbass is talking about planets. This is the guy that's all Jesus, right? Yet he clearly doesn't know what his Bible says. I love when Christians start talking about planets and space and all this other bullshit. They clearly don't know what their Bible says. I ask this all the time and nobody seems to be able to answer it. But what's the very first thing your God does? After it turns on the light, because it doesn't make the sun and the moon until the fourth day, which if you don't have a sun and a moon, how can you have, especially not a sun, how can you have different days? Doesn't make much sense, but what's the very first thing your God does? What's the pedo flag? The blue and white flag with the star in the middle. The ones making idiotic claims are definitely triggered. Again, I think the majority of them are bots, and those that aren't are part of an ACT-IL system or something similar. Definitely laughing at this guy. Narcissistic behavior, yup. You don't even know what narcissistic means. But hey, you heard somebody else say it once, so you're going to say it. We know that by their fruit, this guy, blah, 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 blah. Look at how stupid you sound. He acts like a victim, saying that people call him stupid. When have I acted like a victim saying that people call me stupid? Oh, it's so stupid. Yeah, trade CP. Look at this. This is how desperate they are, right? The guy that trades CP online, supposedly, child exploitation materials, is the guy that thinks we should kill pedos and do everything we can to kill pedos. That makes sense, doesn't it? Funny how this works. This is just so stupid. You can say one thing but do another restart. Like, this is just ridiculous. This is your average Christian, right? This is what Christians do. Right? More like Dick Master Aramite, or am I right? Like, what kind of... It's just ridiculous. These are your typical Christians. They're not like, hey man, I think you misunderstand things. Let me explain it to you. Let me try to get you blah, blah, blah. Nah. They just attack out of stupidity. And they do such a terrible job of actually making any points. Right? Look at how desperate these fucking idiots are. You're wrong about what's being a minimum. Blah, I'm wrong. Yep. I'm gonna. Here was honey. Yeah. Honey. But does Urban Miracle, or are you hunting 42? Meet with God? Are you trying to connect with what? What kind of dumb shit is this? It seems like you want to be upset. Yes, I want to be upset. Here's the example. Right, what? What are we talking about? They did say that, though, you instantly dismissed their claims by saying, where did you get that? What? What are you even fucking talking about? He definitely voted for Kamala. There we go. They can't resist it. They're just stupid people. They can't sit here and tell you why Trump was a good choice. Why Trump, has done everything he said he was going to do and all this other shit. Why the gas and food prices have been cut. Why all the wars ended with one phone call. They can't do that shit. I gave you 2 examples. You didn't give shit. You said, here's your example, and then I gave you 2 examples. But see, this is where stupidity comes in. Because they're dumb enough to actually believe in a presidency and vote and all that. Believe, I'm a Republican, I'm a Democrat, that kind of shit. They think I have to be that dumb too. Well, if I voted for some money, then you had to vote for some money. But the thing is, Kamala had a bad guy vice president and a bad guy husband. Wouldn't have really mattered who won. Jill Stein was the third party candidate. And Trump, according to Bibi, is the greatest friend that the bad guy people in bad guy land has ever known. Look at how many comments are just rapidly coming through, and yet there's only 15 people watching? That's weird. Seems like there's more than 15 profiles here. Oh, you believe in Santa Claus before, right? Yeah, when I was a dumb kid who didn't know better, I believed in something stupid like that. Yes. I love how they make the argument for me. Oh, God's confirmation and affirmation of us praying to him shows blah, blah. Look at this stupid shit. This guy can just repeatedly say all this dumb shit. Can't give you an example of the miracle that he's talking about, though. Where are these miracles everybody's talking about? Still waiting for the miracles. Thoughts on bad guys comparing Trump to King Cyrus? I don't give a shit. It's what they do. It's how they control the narrative. The defense, Mike, is that you've continued cultivating your invisible friend throughout your adulthood. Yeah. Because you're an idiot. It's that simple. And the fact that you can't make any reasonable arguments here just shows it. What's your source? Show me what the number one religion, then hurry while you're talking crap. It's not even a question Islam is the biggest religion in the world. 5 billion some people or some shit. But listen, until you actually acknowledge that you tell us what your miracle was, you just get ignored. How's that? While you're reading the slot from the guy, you glazing, blah, 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 blah. Yep, I'm reading the slot from the guy glazing me. It's hard to argue with someone that thinks stories are real, right? Because you have to agree with someone on everything to be able to argue with them about something. So stupid. Right? We're not gonna have anything to. Thoughts on Handy Sook? What's there to think about? Total fake fucking operation. Just like all of it. If you ever spend any time just looking into the shit, you are so flustered right now, you don't even actually know what's happening. Yeah, I'm just crazy. What's happening? What's happening right now? How was the sun up for over 24 hours in Antarctica? I haven't heard a cohort explain that yet. Right, because it's fake. Oh yeah, well I saw a video, and videos can't be faked. So, it must be true. You never went to Antarctica and saw it for yourself. But you believe it. Oh man. Well, this is for a bit before. I thought I'm not in agreement with Mike or any of his ramble. You haven't given any substantive example. Back up your own stance. Yep. How do I prove? What example do I prove to show you that something doesn't exist? Here, prove there's not a leprechaun dancing around in my hand right now. I see it. I have faith it's there. Sweetheart, do you have faith in a leprechaun in my hand?
Yeah.
Yep, see, it's there. My wife has faith too, so must be that it's there. Prove it's not there. So now I only have 5 viewers, and yet all these comments from like 20 different people are coming through. Not having an answer to cosmic origins doesn't justify you inventing an invisible magician. Great point. Great point. It's buried in his lives, his months of lives. Yeah. Look at this dumb shit. Look at how desperate and stupid this is. It's been the same people the whole time. Are you okay? Yep, that's what it is. So wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I counted 10 people in just a few comments. I'm just making it up though. You want to talk about submarines? Go watch the submarine videos. These people couldn't argue their way out of a sandwich bag. They'd snort their way out of it, though. This guy thinks that Christianity is the biggest religion if there's 2.7 billion followers. There are 8 billion people plus on this planet, supposedly. 5 billion are Muslim. Obviously, like, it's just so stupid. It's just so stupid. Back to the psychosis, yep. You can't go for 5 minutes, blah, 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 blah. Maybe it's because of the pain. No, it couldn't be the pain. I'm faking it all. Hey, at least you got the "you're" right this time. Look at how stupid you are. There are not 5 billion Muslims. Yep, okay. There are not 5 billion Muslims on this planet. Oh, now it only says 2 billion. Wow, the grand number of Muslims grew to 20%. Used to be 5 billion. Now it's down to 2 billion. Huh. They've changed it. But then there's multiple examples. Approximately 1.9, approximately 2.8, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. Well, they've changed it. It was 5 billion. Let's see what it says Christians are. Let's see. .4 Christians. So there's 2.4 Christians and 2 million Muslims. That only makes 4.4 billion people. What are the other 4 billion people then? And you have to understand who controls the narrative, right? The Jays don't want you believing that there are 5 billion Muslims worldwide. But again, so are there 4 billion others? There are just as many others as there are the main 2? How does that make sense? There's only like 15 million, no, not 10, there's like 15 million Jays worldwide. So that's not one. So where are these billions of other people? What are they? Now we only have 2 people watching. Now there's only 2 people. This is fucking stupid, man. Now there's only 1 person, yet multiple people are commenting. How does that work? How does that work? Morning. I'm sure he is. There are hundreds of millions of Buddhists. Maybe.
Did you get any cookies, or did they eat them all up before you got them?
I had 2 and they were very good. Thank you.
Good. You're welcome. Welcome to the neighborhood.
She loves cookies.
She told me that. I'll have to make her some more.
Who doesn't love cookies? Who doesn't love cookies?
Man, that's good.
Aww.
I'm really interested to know where the other 2 billion Muslims went. That's interesting. But this is the same society that's been telling you that around 50,000, 60,000 Palestinians have been killed. You know, they've been saying that same number for like well over a year. Well over a year, they've been claiming that around 50,000 to 60,000 Palestinians have been killed. And yet they're constantly showing you that they're killing them. So it's more than obvious that it's well over 60,000. And according to the people on the ground, it's probably more like 200,000 or 300,000. Especially when you, so one of the points is that only the people that go to the hospital or are taken to the hospital get counted as those that have been killed. Lots of people are buried under the rubble, and the families of a lot of these people don't take their loved ones that are dead to the hospital just to be acknowledged as being dead, just to be counted. They just bury them. But this is the system we live in. They just lie to us over and over again. And when you look into the things like AIPAC, you see how they use it to control. You see that the narratives and how it all works. Definitely see more than 4 people here. I mean, this is as obvious as all of this gets. And the fact that they've fucked up the feed so much, you know, it just is what it is. It shows you how this all works. So as always, I encourage you to go get your free download, www.the-bilderberg, group.com. It's free. It'll ask you how much you want to pay. You can donate as much money as you want, and we appreciate all the donations, but you don't have to. It's free. All we ask is that you share it with someone. I'm going to leave you with the link to Hollywoodism, which I've told you many, many times is the most important video ever made. By them, about them, acknowledging what they do. And I'm going to leave you 3 links to our newest song, Sleight of Hand Job, and then 2 of our newer songs, Donald Trump Hates America and COVID Sauce. Those videos on Facebook. Go to Facebook, like, share, sub, do all that shit, like, share, sub here. Show the system that we will no longer be the dumb goyim they need us to be. And come back tomorrow for the AIPAC talk, because we'll finish the AIPAC talk tomorrow. I just didn't do it today, and I'm sorry, I should have. But as always, the most important thing I ever say is account for our society that doesn't do a good job, that doesn't allow us to fix the problem, and slaps these fools on the wrist, right? So if you're a pedo, do one good thing in your life. Make the world a better place and kill yourself.